And we are live. And looks like on the message. Anyways, I am EMIYA STARlock. I am joined by two people today. My usual partner, Mr. Rick Dom, and also Red Comet Custom. We're gonna talk about, this is episode 8. We're gonna talk about all the things that we'd have happened in the past 12 hours or so. Maybe 20, well, 12 hours. Let's say 12 hours. 15 hours.
Less.
Guys. So, I guess we'll start with the good smile stuff that went up this week before we move on to that. I guess we haven't had an episode in a while, so technically we didn't talk about any of this stuff, but it's okay. We'll just move on and talk about the recent stuff. Much to the sadness of many aftermarket resellers, Shinon Nendroid and the Shinon Figma have both been scheduled for reissue. Kirito Nendroid says it's the second release, but I think has he been reissued before? Because this one's happened already.
I'm almost certain he's been reissued before.
Okay, well, he's getting reissued as well. Both were actually climbing up in price on the aftermarket. Shinon was selling as high as $100 to $150, and more or less overnight, the market crashed. Some resellers I know, particularly dealers who sell at conventions, were actually very sad about that. I mean, that's okay, I guess. It's good for the fans to be able to get the figure that they want, of course, at retail price. She's exactly the same as she was before, so if you missed out, she's up for order now. Likely, as usually how it is with reissue, she probably won't jump back up to her powerful high secondary market prices again after this, but you never know. The Nendroid is also,
and if she does jump, it's gonna be not as close to as it was before.
the Nendroid is also up for reissue. She has a fully movable type, so she has more articulation than your average Figma. So
Figma?
Nendroid. Anyways, she was going up for a good price too, and so was Kirito. So now you guys can get them again. What do you guys think of? I've just added Vegeta to my cart. It doesn't matter. What do you guys think of the reissue of Shinon? We're done.
Finally. I sold mine for the high, so I was kind of.
You were counting on a reissue happening.
Yeah, I was counting on it. So like, man, I sold mine for the high. Like, damn, I better be a reissue. The price was just so tempting, and they were moving so fast at like almost 170, and you know that's a good little amount to put in towards my Ami order. So I sold that immediately at the time. So it's nice that I'm going to be able to get it back. I was really pissed last year. I was at a convention, and somebody was selling an authentic one for $30. It was just opened, and somebody bought it right in front of me. I was super pissed. And now, who cares?
No. So that is Red Comet. I don't think you collect SAO Figmas or Nendroids, but do you have any thoughts on the reissue of Shinon?
I'm always on board with the simple, beautiful logic of if something goes for money.
Your sound's a little bit off. I want to hop back off and hop back in real quick. Yeah, he was sounding like he was having some technical difficulties. So
yeah, he would stop talking, and then it would speed up his speech really quickly, and then
yeah. But he'll be back, and we'll get to hear his thoughts.
Yeah, I know everybody is like really hopeful now. Like, Shinon first, now Ryuko. Where's Ryuko?
Ryuko is probably going to be the next one. because she goes through a lot of money too.
Yeah, I sold mine for a lot of money.
Brandon, what were you saying before?
I was just saying that, I'm always in favor of the logic of if something's an in-demand item that I don't understand why companies don't reissue stuff more often.
All right.
Damn right.
It's that simple.
Moving on.
If there's demand, well, then make a supply.
Moving on, we got other things. In the past few weeks, the Chris Redfield from Biohazard and Uzumaki Naruto from Naruto, the Nendroids have also gone up for order. Chris Redfield comes with an herb for his pre-order bonus on the Good Smile website. So if you want that herb, then you're gonna have to get it on there.
Naruto doesn't have a.
No, it's for Naruto. So Sasuke and Kakashi will probably soon follow. So keep a lookout for that. They don't look to be the super movable type, just regular type, I believe. I could be wrong though. No, they're not the super movable type, just regular.
I don't see any joints, so yeah, just probably swap out parts.
Not super movable type. So those are up for order. We got the next in the
God Hand.
well, also the Token Ranbu Online scale figure series. Monoyoshi Sadamune. It's a popular character. A lot of people have been requesting this one for a while, and it's gone up for order. So you guys can get it as normal with all the exclusives. I believe he comes with a charm as a pre-order bonus. Yep. And a charm of the actual sword that the character is based on, who he's supposed to represent. As we know, that Token Ranbu is all the characters are actually ancient, not ancient, but historical katanas and weapons that were used during the feudal era. So we're also getting the second Nendroid in the KLF series, Mai Shiranui. She went up for order as well. And we're also getting the final installment of the God Hand. Many fans have been very taken aback. It's kind of priced a lot of people out. It's been kind of controversial among people who do collect Berserk figures, or not really collect Berserk figures, but people who collect Figmas who want to collect Berserk figures, because this is quite possibly the most expensive Figma ever produced. It's 24,800 yen, which comes out to probably be about 200. After shipping, it'll be easily $250 something. So it's pretty expensive. Of course, obviously, someone like myself, it's a no-brainer. In fact, I'm going to buy more than one. But I know I can see that for some people, it would be definitely a big downer as far as the price goes. What do you guys think?
I think it depends on your dedication to Berserk. I mean, if you're one of those guys who, like yourself, pretty much money is no object, this is the only posable void we're ever going to get, then, it's a must buy if you can just stomach that cash drop. If you're a more casual fan, you just like it for the style, or you're a recent fan of the anime or whatever, then, I could see this being an easily skippable item. He's not what you'd call core cast. What about you, the Ricks?
Yeah. I mean, the price is not a problem for me. Thankfully, I'm in a position where the price is. I obviously want it to be cheaper, but it's not a problem. I do feel bad for fans who are like EMIYA said, they're pretty much getting priced out of finishing their God Hand at this price. I mean, we saw how people reacted to the prices for Slain, and then this happens, and people are really taken aback by it. And like EMIYA said, there's a lot of controversy going on right now. I mean, anybody that's even kind of into Berserk, they always have to mention it to me, like, man, what's with those prices of those Figmas? And I mean, I see where the price is coming from. We have that big wingspan and whatnot, but I do personally believe it's priced a little too high.
Yeah, they did not make it approachable.
Yeah, this is very much hardcore at this point with that price. I don't think people throw a fit when they pay $70 for a Figma. So, this is it's causing quite the controversy. I mean, I'm very sorry to all those collectors that they wanted their God Hand, and at this point quite possibly can't finish the team because of this price point. And I hope you end up finding a way.
Oh, I was muted. Anyway, yeah, the price is definitely certainly high. The figure is a lot bigger, and obviously it's, many weights is very intricate and everything. So I don't think it's completely unjustified, but I do think that they were kind of pricing themselves on the high side. I know a lot of people, bring up the fact that Ubik they consider essentially an accessory, which I guess when you look at his size, I don't say he's an accessory, but it's not like it's a very big figure. It's definitely more expensive. Again, I guess it really just depends on what you're used to. I guess this would definitely fall into the more high-end category for this type of toy, this type of figure. So if you are a fan and you want to complete your God Hand, which I know, in all honesty, this is the best rendition of the God Hand probably ever, just speaking overall sculpt, everything. It is the best version. It's even better than all the statues that have been released so far. So
yeah, and as high as the price may be, even price wise, it's still winning, even though.
Yeah, I mean the statues. I would say if you bought all of these together, deep with the deluxe Femto, the Slan and Conrad, and the Ubik and Void, I think you're probably looking at around like $500 something, probably buy it all, probably by the time it's shipped to you, around like $500. And I honestly think that's not absolutely terrible, but I can definitely see why some people would be taken back by it. So
yeah, I know a particular friend of ours was practically not going to order because it was so high. So it's a bad situation for certain collectors, man, and I do wish it wasn't as high, but hey,
it's never a good thing to scare off the more casual newer fans. Berserk is known for being a die-hard fandom. Their fans have traditionally been a bit on the older side. Usually can afford the Art of War statues and such, but with the new fan base getting into with the recent movies and series, it is kind of sad to throw this in their faces as something that's a bit of a barrier, might be a bit out of their reach.
all right. So let's move on. It seems Conrad and Ubik and Void. Some people are going to be missing it, but it's okay. It is what it is. Hopefully those people who do eventually want one, will hopefully get one at some point. Moving on. The pre-order for Belle Dandy, Me, My Girlfriend, and Our Ride version has gone up. This is a figure that was shown at an exhibition about. It's been shown at more than one exhibition. And finally, it went up for order. It's actually not too expensive. It's 13,800 yen.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked when I saw the price, and I was like, wow, this is actually a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually could have been a lot worse. That could have easily been closer to 200.
When I first saw it, I was thinking it would be 200 something, just because that's just what I'm used to. But it actually is fairly cheap. This is based on an illustration, I believe. And, there's never really, although she's not particularly the current flavor of the modern anime fan, there's never really never need an excuse to make more Belle Dandy figures. So, you guys can see it is very nice. She comes with Fujishima designed, like, space bike thing. So you can find her pretty cheap on some of the pre-order Japanese retailers, they have it for more closer to the. It's 13,800 yen. You could probably get it closer to the 11,000 yen range. So that's like a $20-something savings if you guys can find it before shipping, of course. So, or you can order it on here. They have flat rate shipping, so it'll be 15,800 yen by the time it arrives, which would be, you know, pretty more expensive than probably you bought it from the other shop. But you do have the service of Good Smile in case something is broken. You know, you can get it, and some of this hair could be broken, this could be broken. You know, you never know. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Red?
I mean, I actually was a pretty big Bell Dandy fan back in the day, so I do have some affinity for this. I think it's a really nice statue, and the colors are gorgeous. I never really took to his later art style. I preferred the more middle period art style. I never took to the super soft round proportions that he used towards the end of the run. So that's why this is kind of I would slightly be tempted. I'm not a huge fan of the face. So yeah, that's just my take on it.
Rick Dom?
This is a beautiful piece. I'm not the biggest Bell Dandy fan. It was a little before my time, but I have watched the series, and you know, it's a classic at this point, and I am tempted. It's really nice, and it's really not that expensive. So I don't know. I'll be considering it still.
All right. Well, I ordered one, so I got it. But it is a nice piece if you are a fan. It is, again, like Red said, it is based on his current artwork because it's obviously a current illustration. And if you're not a fan of the current artwork, then maybe it's not your thing. But it's not like there are not already plenty of things to buy. So
yeah, and I'm not, and I would never argue and say that my taste have to rule all, that they should go back to the old art stuff is what I like. My personal taste, never cared for his, the later chapters artwork, so I just probably won't buy it.
All right, moving on. This is the first major figure of Mume from Cavalleria, the Iron Fortress. This is a figure that a lot of fans have been waiting for. Always attractive studio designs. And then Mume, she is, gliding through the air about to fight some Cavalry. So, it also comes with a special art card of the original illustration. It's a nice thing to note that this is a series which is designed, original character designs by Haruhiko Mikimoto, who is the character designer for the original Macross, for many other things. And it's really awesome that, this guy can, do something for the modern anime fan, and modern anime fans are okay with it. So it is definitely a really nice figure. You guys can see. It's probably the best sculpt. I don't know if we're going to get... Cavalry is one of those things. I don't know how big it will be in the long term, but if you just wanted one thing to represent it, and Mume is super popular. So, yeah. If you guys want something, this is actually a good thing to get. What do you guys think? Rick Dom?
Oh, it's a fantastic piece. It's like you said, it's something people have been wanting, and couldn't have been a better first figure. And it's always nice. I notice, although it's not that big of a deal to me, I notice people always love when their figures come with little postcards, illustrated versions of their statues. So it's a really nice piece. I think the price is great too. So.
How about you, Red?
I think it's a really cute girl statue. I think the colors are very nice. It's very vibrant. I have absolutely no knowledge of the subject material, so I'm just based on what I see in front of me. But it's a really nice. Again, if you like your girl's on the cuter side, she's very cute. I love the colors, the vibrant, and the pose on it. And yeah, the price is perfectly serviceable. So if you're a fan of this, great. I'd say if you're just somebody who likes to collect nice girl figures, I'd say it's probably a good purchase.
It's interesting that Red talks about the face. That seems to be the #1 complaint of the figure. A lot of people feel like Mume should have a more fierce look on her face. But she actually has a rather moe, very cute, excited look on her face, which, if you look at the original illustrations based on it, she looks kind of cute and excited on there too. So maybe it's the Mikimoto-ness that, gets that kind of leaks into the character. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great figure. I bought it myself just because I have no self-control. But hey, it is definitely a really nice piece. And if you're a fan of the Cabaneri, this is definitely a must-have. Even if you are not a super big fan, but you just want one figure to represent it. And, I mean, guys love the girls. So she is the main heroine of the series, probably also the most popular character of the series. So she's kind of like the Mikasa of the series, I guess. So, yeah, definitely a good piece to hop on if you guys are fans. Moving on, we also got pre-order for Naruhodo also went up, or Phoenix Wright in the US. There is actually a exclusive version of this figure for the Good Smile website, which I consider is actually very, it's his kind of embarrassed look. Personally, this is a must. There's no option. This is the only one to get for me. But if you don't care about the space, you can find him. He still comes with, his yelling face, his still his yelling face, his default face. Then he comes with a shocked face. He still comes with a decent amount of faces, So even if you don't get his awesome embarrassed face, that's okay too. But for me, that's definitely a must-have. So definitely, if you are interested in getting his embarrassed face option, then you're definitely going to want to get him off the Good Smile website, which means you're probably paying like $20-something more. But in my opinion, it's worth it. So moving on, Rick Dom, what do you think of?
Oh, dude, that face, super essential, just for me at least. Like, I just you and I have talked about it, ad nauseum before. When they have these faces that are very, particular to the character, like an iconic face, it's always like like why would I even consider buying the other version? I mean, yeah, I don't want to pay that extra like $25, but doesn't mean that I won't, even though I don't want to. For me, it's an essential face. I need this exclusive version, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
How about you, Red? What do you think?
On the philosophical level, I, as usual, agree with you two on that I'm all about, maximum accessories. You have to pay a little bit for it. This looks like a very essential face, and you definitely want to have, especially, I see this figure being very popular in joke photography, so this would probably be the most useful face for that. As for the subject, this is actually a game I always feel like I should have played. I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, your Professor Layton and stuff like that. I've always kind of meant to play the Phoenix Wright series. I've just never gotten around to it, so no personal attachment, but it's a really nice figure. And yeah, I would say that this exclusive version on the Good Smile shop is the one to get.
Seems like everyone knows that this is the version to get. So anyways, moving on. If you guys want it, it is on the Good Smile site. It's available right now. Probably be up for about a month. It just went up, so it'll be up for probably a few more weeks at least. So definitely look into that. Otherwise, the other version without the embarrassed face, but the other faces is also available. So this is not that important to you, then that's okay too. There's also an option. And we're also getting, these are a couple new Nendroids. We're getting the Nendroid Code Len. People have been waiting for that one. Won't really go too much into it just because I'm not sure how much of our audience actually cares about, exposed Nendroids. But those look really nice. This is actually part of a series, the Trickster Code, the Len Trickster version, Nendroid Code. So this is the next one. They're gonna do more, of course. The scale figure Ritsuko Akitsuki from Idolmaster, I believe. This is the one based on her, from the DVD cover. Looks really good. It's a nice figure. Again, don't know. Sadly, we don't have the audience yet for this stuff, but I love to mention it just because I eventually want to have the audience for it. What do you think, Rick? Now, Ritsuko?
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. It's fantastic. I love the colors and the clothing on that figure. Ritsuko, man, very awesome.
All right. We're also getting we're finally getting the Shredder of that TMNT series.
Oh yeah, people have been going pretty crazy for this one.
With James Jean's original illustration. They're also going to do Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang to recreate the full diorama. Let's see if we can get a picture of that, actually. There we go. There's a picture of it, actually, right here. There you go. That's what it's going to look like when it's all put together.
Very impressive.
So for the Ninja Turtle fans, if this is your thing, this is, pretty cool, I guess. What do you guys think?
Well, we saw it at New York Comic Con, so they had on display there. It was a very impressive set. I've got beyond zero interest in Ninja Turtles, but this figure alone looks really nice, very badass, very, evil looking. I'd say this diorama is a much more successful diorama than the strictly Turtles one. I think this one just, again, as a non-fan speaking artistically, I think looks really nice.
Yeah, I loved the Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I don't seem to know why. I've had this conversation many times with EMIYA, but as an adult, that nostalgia didn't really carry on with me like that. I don't know. I try to get into it, even the new show and stuff like that, and it's just not for me anymore. I outgrew it, sadly. I am personally very, very surprised they continued this line. I'm sure EMIYA and even Red over here would know that those Ninja Turtles went like pretty super clearance on a lot of websites. So
yeah, they took a little too much artistic liberty with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Frogs.
Yeah, that they were super disco on a lot of websites. So I'm very surprised they're continuing this line. Like Red said, this set looks much more impressive than the other set.
Yeah,
I prefer to have these four than the other four.
With my piddly turtle knowledge, I have no interest in the turtle set. These look really nice.
Oh yeah.
That also being said, the only affinity I have right now is having seen the recent movie where I found Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder in the recent live-action movie to be absolutely hysterical. I have the tiniest bit more affinity for them, so it's like, oh, these look like cool versions of guys who I was very entertained by. So,
yeah,
that's that for me. Looking at it here, I don't know if it's intentional. It's kind of a nice touch looking at Shredder's armor. It almost looks like made out of turtle shells, which is fucked up, appropriate, and very nice.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, as you guys can see, he also has a removable mask option. You can see it looks like a scarred face underneath, at least from here. I don't know if he's supposed to have a scarred face.
Yeah, that's the scarred Uroku face. Uroku Saki.
Saki, yep. Yeah. So you can look at the face of Uroku Saki. You can remove his mouthpiece, which will reveal that. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I have no attachment to turtles, but it is definitely a very nice looking figure for the fans. And it's a different take. Obviously, it's not like traditional. So and you could build this cool diorama. You collect them all. So, and I think one last thing. Well, we're getting the Girls on looks like Girls on Panzer tank, right?
Yeah, and then the red one.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. We're getting the Figma Yoshihiko. Yoshihiko is from a TV series. It's called, I believe, Brave Yoshihiko, and it's kind of like a comedy, funny series. This is actually the guy who plays. He plays in a lot of the movies. And Takayuki, his name is Takayuki Yamada. He's the lead in a lot of films and TV shows and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see his likeness. Unfortunately, it's not a default of his likeness because he has a fucking damn turban on his head. But it is pretty cool, and for the scale, it looks like apparently he supervised the likeness and the production of the figure, development of the figure, and everything. So it's kind of cool. It's a funny show. It's from a few years ago, but it looks like obviously it must it kind of must have some place in the heart of fans, in the community.
I feel bad I was muted. When you got to the picture of him with the 3D glasses on, I just busted a gut. That was hilarious.
Yeah, he has the 3D glasses. So it's a really funny series. If you guys ever have a chance to see it, it is actually pretty funny. It's called Brave Yoshihiko. It's pretty absurd. So it is a good series. It's cool that they're doing a thing with it. I'll probably get one just because I did enjoy the show and it looks like it's a funny figure. But yeah. What do you guys think of Brave Yoshihiko?
It's giving me a tiny bit of interest watching the show. If I enjoy absurd humor, being half British, so that's my cup of tea, literally. So just even look at this figure, it's like, wow, I kind of at least want to check out episode 2 of this show, just because it seems like I might actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I've never seen Brave Yoshihiko. I've seen memes with this guy before though.
There's a lot of memes with this guy, so
yeah,
for sure.
Very, very, very cool looking figure. I know a lot of people are like really interested in army building this guy. I think that would be really weird, personally.
It looks comedic though. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. I don't understand the point of army building him. Like you can pretty much only ever have.
He doesn't look like anything. He's not like a generic Arab warrior or anything.
Yeah, I don't see why people.
He's obviously Asian.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody.
Minor fact aside.
What happened?
Yeah, minor fact aside that he's obviously not what he's dressed up as.
Yeah, I don't personally see how people can want to army build this, but he looks like a really fun figure. I'm very tempted just because he looks so fun, and anytime something has a cloth cape, they get my support.
And a murderous koala bear.
Murderous koala bear and the 3D glasses.
3D old school glasses. I'm just flashing back to the Muppet movie. The popcorn is a popping in a 3D.
There is no exclusive for this version, so if you guys are interested, you can just order him on your favorite websites. The only thing that has exclusive we talked about so far is the Len. Let's check out what the Lens exclusive is before we move on to the next stuff. Lens exclusive. Oh, looks like will be a badge, special trickster badge as a bonus.
Oh no, but what about Naruhodo?
Oh, Naruhodo. I said Naruhodo and also Len. Those two are really that have exclusive. Oh, and of course, Monoyoshi Sadamune as well, with the charm, which we talked about. So. All right, that's it for Good Smile. We can move on. Talk about Prime One. Prime One getting all the licenses these days. If you guys are not aware, we've talked about Prime One before, but they do a lot of really high-end. When we mean high-end, we mean like the more $500 to $1,000 range collectibles. They have revealed that they have the Evangelion license. Here's a teaser of it right here. They'll have a full review at Wonder Festival Winter 2017. It looks like it's this is EVA 01 in a huge diorama. Looks fucking incredible.
Like the famous shot of it running through the town.
So it's looking really good. So yeah, I'm actually this is going to be pretty expensive. So this is going to be really awesome. What do you guys think of EVA 01 running through the city in Prime 1 statue? Breakdown.
It's a absolutely iconic scene done by some of the most exciting statue makers in the game right now. Who, like you said in the opening, have pretty much seemed like they're doing anything that anyone has clamored for at this point. As far as licenses go, and it's pretty exciting. I don't think I'll be buying it, just because they're so expensive. I don't have that type of money, but I'm sure, whenever their first Berserk piece comes, it's going to be very highly considered and very likely for me to buy if there's a way for me to do a payment plan.
As for me, I think it'll be absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this will probably, and EMIYA can correct me, but this would probably be the definitive EVA 01 collectible for a fan. It's going to be big. It's going to be dynamic, great paint job based on Prime 1's previous work. This would be the centerpiece for an Evangelion collector. So I am not especially a huge Evangelion collector myself. I do enjoy the series. I've seen the series a few times, watched the movie. I do like it. Nowhere near enough to drop $1,000 on this thing, but I think it would be for a fan the premier piece. Definitely worth getting.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be one of those things where, I mean, just looking at it right here, you know, it being Prime One, you know, things like that. It's going to have a lot going for it. As far as you know, being like a definitive collectible and everything, because Prime One always, you know, they just do absolutely incredible work. As far as being the collectible, we'll just have to see. I'm assuming they're going to be doing a series, so you know it's going to come down to what you like. But it's hard to argue right now there's anything that's going to be on this level or that already exists, just because you know Prime One has been, you know, everything they've been touching has been just great. So definitely something to consider in the future. I would definitely want to see it, but I'm very highly interested right now. That's for sure. So moving on, they've also revealed that they have the license for Guyver as well, and this is basically Aptom Biofreezer Aptom. It looks like so. It looks pretty incredible. There's a teaser. You only see his legs. There was another picture going down that they also showed right here. Another part of like his chest. So this is Aptom, the would merge with the Biofreezer. And it looks just wow, just incredible. I have no idea when we're actually going to see a prototype, but it's looking really good. And here's an actual Guyver, you know, one actual Guyver statue. It looks like the part of a huge fucking diorama. It also looks absolutely incredible. Yeah, I don't know when we're actually going to see physical stuff. Maybe they're planning to show it along with EVA 01 at Wonderfest, hopefully, and we get to see what they have planned for Guyver. What do you guys think, Rick? No.
I'm not that big of a Guyver fan. It was pretty big when I was a kid. I'd always remember seeing the comic book, and I remember having like some flea market knockoff version of the toy when I was a kid, and I'm not that big of a fan of it, but I'm sure that this piece is going to be crazy, and I know a lot of Guyver fans are definitely excited to see how it comes out.
For me, I mean, Guyver, it falls into similar categories that Guyver for me is something that when I read all that was up to the comic as of a few years ago, which probably is still not too much. It's a slow comic. It's one of the ones that when I read it and we're watching it, I get very into it. I enjoy it very much. But then it doesn't really seem to hold me past when I've read it. So I don't end up really buying much for it. But when I read it, I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great comic, really exciting, really action-packed, you know, lots of intrigue. Similar situation to the Evangelion. I don't see myself pulling the trigger on such a, you know, over-the-top elaborate piece. I mean, so far I've only ordered one Prime 1 statue, and that's Witcher, which I am an ungodly fan of that right now. So, yeah, it would take something on that level for me to actually pull the trigger on a Prime 1. So, very nice piece, but not for me.
All right. Hopefully, you get to see some reviews at Wonderfest winter. Looks like that's when they're going to reveal it. So I would hope. They don't say it right here, but maybe we'll see it. We're seeing Evangelion there at the very least. So hopefully, depending on what we see, we'll definitely see it. Depending on Prime 1 right now, they're showing so many, you know, digital sculpts and everything that I really wonder if when we're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff. They're already pretty busy with all the Western licenses they're tackling, so we'll just have to wait and see what they have planned. All right, moving on from Prime 1. Okay, so it looks like we'll just talk about yesterday's event this weekend. There's a Tamashii Nations event in Japan. It pretty much lasted this weekend, pretty much starting from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe, 3 days. They've shown, there's been quite a few reveals. I don't believe the show's actually, it's probably about open to the public now, but it wasn't open to the public when a lot of these pictures came out. The press was allowed in yesterday, so they got like a sneak preview of everything. We're going to go ahead and open this up and see what kind of stuff we have. The only thing's changed. So, starting with the Kamen Rider series, we are finally getting the Shinko Choseiho Punch and Kick Hopper. This is something that a lot of fans, have been waiting for. Punch and Kick Hopper are very popular. Some of the most popular characters from the Kabuto series, and this is the first time we're seeing them on display. They look really good. Pretty much what you expect is using the new body. So far, looks like for Shinko Choseiho series, the Kabuto series, seeing as Kabuto was the first figure, it's also the series that has the most characters right now in the series. I mean, we have Punch, Kick Hopper now, and we have Kabuto and Gatak as well. So, what do you guys think of Punch and Kick Hopper?
It's a nice gauge of the technology because, for those of us who've been in this shit that long, these two characters are actually amongst the first SH figure arts. The original Punch and Kick Hopper, they were some of the first figure arts. They actually, at various points, have gone for a lot of money because, as EMIYA said, they are very popular characters with the core fandom for this series. So these are a very nice watermark to see how much the line has grown. The line has grown quite a bit. These are absolutely gorgeous figures, great proportion. I mean, Kabuto is one of those ones that once they did the new series, the new version of it, we were guaranteed to get almost everyone quickly because they're very similar. All the designs in that series, all of it, similar base suit. But, for the fans, these are very popular characters. Great to see the love they're getting.
How about you, Rick Dom?
Who is muted?
Seems Rick Dom stepped away. Does not care about Kamen Rider. It's okay. It's okay.
That's
Anyways, moving on. Well, Punch and Kick Hopper, it doesn't mention if they're going to be exclusives, but likely what's going to happen, and this is generally what will happen, they might both be exclusives. Because the Talk was actually an exclusive. I wouldn't be surprised if both these guys are exclusives as well. So we'll hopefully know pretty soon. We're getting the entire cast of Gaim in the SIC series. We'll just try to quickly go through these. I mean, there's not really much to say. We're getting Cherry and Peach. I
always like Peach's design, and it looks really good.
Yeah. And Cherry as well.
They all look great, but as one I'm actually a fan of, particularly like Zangetsu and Cherry, those look really great.
They look good. I'm assuming pretty much all of these are going to be exclusive just because that's usually how they operate at SIC. Everything is pretty much exclusive except for the very first one, which is just the base form of the main character. And sometimes the ultimate form is also regular release, but likely this is going to be 100. All of it's going to be exclusive. So. Not sure that these Roid Moods are actually going to be released or it's just a big display.
Especially that one.
So. And, we're getting the SHF series.
Unless that's from a movie I have missed. That looks like a totally concept design.
I think they're movie ones. It's usually what they do now, so. Getting more from Amazon. SHF series. Amazon Sigma. Jungle Lighter, which I think has already went up for order. So we're getting the very final of the Showa Riders. Zekross and Helldiver with his bike. I'm not sure if this is going to be an exclusive. I'm not sure what differences Zekross has compared to the original release. And with it, I think we pretty much have all of the bikes for the Showa era. You can do that one movie where Zekross's movie. You can do it now. So we have more Ultraman SHF. These are based on the series where they're more suit accurate. So they're not idealized. They look like the ones that are on screen. So they're very Showa looking. They're
adorable.
So they're also very they're not symmetrical. So they're pretty much exactly how the costumes were. So if it's a little like uneven and crooked looking, that's just in the show. That's how these figures look. So we're getting Big Joe and Big Joe, Metron. You know, two very popular ones. People have been waiting for these for a while. Zeton, of course. Mephilius. And then we're getting Gomorrah as well, right there. So Zeton, we got Baltan already. We got Zeton, Mephilius, and we got Gomorrah. So, and it looks like we're getting Zolfi as well. You can see him in the background. And that's it for the Kamen Rider and Ultraman. Do you have any thoughts on this, Red? Or Rick Tom? Do either of you have any thoughts on these Ultraman figures? Any thoughts?
Yeah, if you're asking me,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can go first. Nope.
I mean, this is almost all classic stuff. So, I mean, for those old school fans, this is great stuff. It's interesting to see the very clean, nice, modern toy look on these old designs. So, yeah, Helldiver looks like a hell of a bike, very flashy. But yeah, mostly this is for your old school fans. This isn't for the younger kids, but definitely a lot of love here. It's nice to see a line like this where Bandai is stuck with it long enough that they can go back and start filling in the gaps and give you literally everyone.
Yeah, these are really, really cool looking pieces. I'm not a big Ultraman fan. When I was growing up, it was around me because my father was into Ultraman, but it's just not my thing. But they all look really, really cool. The idea of them looking more and more like they did on screen is fantastic.
And charming as hell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good line for if you're definitely the Super Showa fan and you like your stuff to be very Showa accurate. The thing about Ultra Act has always been that they're the idealized looking, so some fans didn't really, they like to have their very old school looking ones, and this is definitely serving them. These figures are also smaller than Ultra Act line and everything too, so not necessarily know that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's okay. So moving on, we got our thoughts on that. Moving on to the next topic, we'll be covering SH Monster Arts. The life size, I won't say it's not 1/1 scale, it's human size Godzilla. I believe it's the 1989 version. Human size, the 1991 version. It's pretty much your iconic Godzilla. It's going to cost around like $40,000. They are making 10 pieces. So for those super baller fans out there, those guys who are super rich and have too much money, this is for you. You love Godzilla. This is it. This is the ultimate Godzilla collectible. So yeah. What do you guys think of the human-sized Godzilla?
Something like this I always find a little odd because when you say there's only 10 available, but if you've got $40K to drop on something like this, I feel like you get this done whenever you want. You can pay someone $40,000 to make this. It's not going to be official, but, that's kind of my feeling on it. Like, okay, if everyone's going to drop that, it'll be limited to 10, whatever. We'll just make you another one for $40,000. Who cares? Yeah, it's for those, those Hong Kong guys or those super hardcore fans who just, want to have that centerpiece to their Godzilla room. You'll plop in the middle of all their vinyl collection.
Yeah, it's a absolutely ridiculous, but very, very cool piece. If I had the money and I didn't give a shit, I had no worry in the world, I'd buy one.
This is one of those things I think if you had like, a store that you're sinking a ton of money into, this is something that you get for it. At least, if anything, you want to rent one. But yeah, this is one of those super.
Toy Tokyo dropping this in their front lobby.
Yeah. Again, only if your store actually generated that kind of cash, it would be one of those things. But yeah, definitely a very cool piece. Not one a lot of people will own, but very, very cool nonetheless. And moving on, we also have Shin Godzilla. This is the figure that's already up for pre-order, so you guys are, love the movie, you guys saw it, and you guys like it, and you guys want to get in on it, it's up for pre-order now. There's a U.S. release, of course, and also Japanese release. It is definitely a piece. If you're a fan, you definitely want to get it. I believe it's around like 120, 100 and something bucks. I don't remember exact retail price, but they are also going to be doing the first and second form as well.
Awesome.
They look pretty much exactly as they do in the movie, so definitely if you're one of those guys that wants to have every single form, you want to have like all of them, then this is for you. I assume that these are going to be web shop exclusives. Pretty certain they will be. But fret not if you're in the States, because Godzilla is a strategic property, and will be these figures are definitely going to come out regular release. So here anyway. All right, moving on.
A bit of shock. I might actually get this. When I saw the movie in the theater a few weeks ago, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I might actually drop the money on this guy. So,
on the second and third form, or the
Ultraman
final form, or on the first and second form as well.
All three. I mean, from what I also understand, in Japan, the first two, especially Form 1, actually has a fairly strong, meme presence. So that's probably part of their logic in even making these figures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might actually pull the trigger on these. Like you said, Emiya, these will probably be in Barnes and Noble and such. So I'll see it in front of me, and if my wallet's in the right place and my heart is in the right place, I might actually pull the trigger on these.
How about you, Rick Dom?
I am really not a Godzilla fan like that at all. But it is very awesome. I'm always big, on getting figures, soon after, the material that it comes from was released. I'm all about, if the movie just came out, then I want the figure very soon, and I'm sure other fans are just like that, and it's always great when stuff like this comes quickly after a release of a film or a series or whatever it may be.
Very, very good. All right. Moving on. We're getting Gavan and the Savarian set. Seems almost kind of, well, I guess it's never too late for this kind of stuff. We're also getting Ichioji, Retsu. Looks like they're doing the digital scan on his face, because it looks really good.
Looks hella good. Looks hella good.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic.
So they're using a digital coloring on which we always hoped whenever they were doing it for the Western live action characters, that we were going to get it for the Japanese suit at the actual human forms as well. Assuming they wanted to do more human forms. Human forms usually traditionally don't sell as much as the hero forms. Usually the hardcore people want to have the human forms. But maybe with this new detail and stuff, that there'll be more fans who want to have both. It's always a possibility. All right, we are getting Tamashi Lab line is getting more love here. Tamashi Lab is basically Bandai's I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like their gimmicky toy for adults kind of division, where they do a lot of like light up toys and gimmicky stuff. The Gavan light laser sword was part of the Tamashi Lab line, and it looks like these ships are as well. So I assume they must have some kind of electronic feature or something, like a lot of LED lights or, you know, whatever. It's very Showa, you know, era stuff. And we're getting Gavan Type G as well. You know, all of them together, the Space Squad and everything. We're getting the Dragon Dagger, you know, from the Dragon Ranger from Zoo Ranger, or the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin. This looks kind of like almost the same exact thing that the US got, but I can't be for sure because I don't actually own it. Though part of the Legacy series. It claims it claims they designed a Tamashi Labs. I'm just gonna assume that maybe it's new.
Yeah, I mean the stand is 100% different.
Stand is 100% new. I'm just wondering if the dagger is 100% new. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, it looks different.
So I don't know. Whatever. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. I mean, that's what matters, right? So, I'm assuming we'll probably have the more Japanese gimmicks, like Japanese sound and everything and stuff like that. That says it is. Let's move on to the next thing. The Garo series, White Knight Dan, which just recently went up for order of the Makai Kado series, which is I guess the current iteration of the equip and prop without the prop and without the equip as well. It's just basically better figures, I guess more current SIC style. He is getting his horse, the Hayate. You know, this looks pretty much a retool of Zero's horse. It looks pretty good. And of course, Dan is sold separately. So what do you guys think of Gavan and Dragon Dagger and Hayate? We'll start with Red. What do you think?
I mean, as a Garo fan, you know, I have the old Dan figure. The new one looks really nice, more ornate. I do recall that, I don't know if it still did, but the Dan used to go for decent money. So obviously be a very welcome thing for the fan base to have, you know, a newer, better figure that, you know, is available at retail or at least, you know, exclusive retail price. Horse looks really nice, really ornate. You know, the horse is always very impressive when they appear in the Garo series. So, you know, nice to be able to line him up with his brethren. Unfortunately, I have to give a marked indifference to everything else you talked about. So, over to you, Rick Dom.
It's funny. I have to do the opposite. I don't know a damn thing about Garo. Like even the slightest thing other than his name is Garo. And that may or may not be every single person I've ever seen from the series. You know, who knows? But I can comment on the Power Ranger stuff. I think it was worth noting that it kind of looks like, although EMIYA didn't mention, it kind of looks like the Power Rangers figures have been recolored. Awesome, you know, people been asking for those to come back for forever, so that's pretty fantastic. That people get another shot finally. You know, it's been a long time coming. I don't think we really need a new dagger, and
I think it's mostly for Japan. I think the dagger is mostly.
It wasn't as if the first. Well, it came out in Japan too. The first one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Toys R Us exclusive. So, they had them in China and the Philippines as well. It's like it doesn't matter how much money they put into it. I don't know how different it could really be. It's not like the thing does like something crazy like transform on the show, but they can make it transform or something like that. It's just a very, you know, plain sword. I don't think there was really a need for it, but it's cool. I guess, you know, you get a little more higher end version of what was sold at Toys R Us. So yeah, go Super Power Ranger fans.
Yeah, as Rick Dom was mentioning, in the display you could see. I mean, I don't know if they're actually recolored, but you can see that Dragon Ranger and Terra Ranger and Tri-Zero Ranger are on display, and the other ones are there too, like Tyranno Ranger and stuff. They're displayed with the SLC Daizujin and also this Tamashi Lab Dragon Dagger.
It's hard to say about the color because the photographer's obviously using a heavy flash.
But if this means that they're getting reissued, it's definitely obviously
That's good news too.
For the U.S. fans in particular. I expected that these figures were going to get a reissue anyway, just because the Power Rangers movie is 2017, the reboot one, and I figured that they were going to try to bank in on that. So
we're also getting their the SOC of their mech, so another good excuse.
Yeah, the Daijujin.
Daijujin, so or Mighty Morphin Megazord. So yeah, and like I said, these Galvan pieces are very cool. Great for the Galvan fans. I'll probably pick up some of them. I'm not sure if I'll grab the ships, but probably definitely Retsu and the Cyberian set probably as well. And
I don't often get the dirty look from EMIYA on this kind of stuff, but I get the dirty look that my only affinity for Space Sheriff is its role in VR Troopers. That's how I know them. That's my only affinity for
Dude, that's the only way I know them too, man. VR Troopers to me. I have a shirt. I have a shirt of me when I'm 5 years old with a VR Troopers shirt on.
I mean, I'm all about Mac crossover, Robotech, all the original Japanese versions. But this is one of the cases where my only exposure to that subgenre is just their appearance in VR Troopers, which I was a decent fan of when I was too young to know better. So there you go.
All right. Let us move on to the next thing. We can get rid of this Tokusatsu thing. This is the thing probably everybody wants to hear about. This is the Dragon Ball and all the Shonen Jump stuff. They're showing off this new, I believe it's called. They have it written down here. I forgot what it was. Okay, Brothers Bond. Okay,
the Brothers Bond.
This is actually different from the Law and Luffy set. This is actually two different figures, and you just kind of put them together. So this is the Marineford battle, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a Figard Zero. Signature, very dynamic, lots of effects. It's pretty much what they tried to do to more or less separate themselves from other offerings on the market.
Go on their own.
More action, more dynamic, and this one looks really great. Of course, you can never have too many Brothers Bond kind of figures for one piece. It seems to be a market into itself. And this time, like I said, they can be. You can buy them separately. They're displayed together here, but you can actually buy them separately, and you can put them together. So there's another,
which would be a no-brainer. I mean, as fairly having become a pretty big One Piece fan in the recent thing, I'd say this obviously is meant to be together. Looks like it's when Luffy first springs Ace during that battle, and yeah, it's a great moment. It's a great scene. It's pretty much the only time in the series you actually get to see the two brothers actually side by side in battle. So yeah, for a fan, this is a must get. Hey, Phoenix dude.
Yeah, we have Marco, who's actually had his fair share of Phoenix Flame figures. This is just the newest one. Obviously, looks really nice. Like Figure Art Zero has, always kill it when it comes to the dynamic and the action, at least as far as One Piece goes, and for most of the line. So, no word on price. These will obviously probably be regular releases. I assume Marco probably will be as well. Although Marco might be an exclusive. A lot of Figure Art Zero actually for One Piece actually are regular releases. So, except for some of the movie ones. Rick Dom, any thoughts?
I just tell it to you guys like this. Those two are brothers, and they share a bond.
All right.
Except they're not. So
oh my god.
Haha.
These are figures we've already seen. They were revealed at New York Comic Con. These are the Xenoverse Hero and Time Patrol Trunks. They look good. We already seen that they're pretty much going up for order soon, and all their stuff has been revealed. Each of these come with the Super Saiyan form options and other things like that. That they go up this month for reorder in Japan. The next Bandai drop. Any thoughts on these guys, even though we've already seen them?
I think it's crazy that that these are regular release. I mean,
yeah, that's also another thing. They're regular release as well.
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
I guess maybe they think the game will give it a big enough push.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all I hear is people wanting that that Xenoverse character hero for stealing his Super Saiyan Gohan head. That's not what I'm gonna be doing, but I just being a person that's so into you know the anime world, I'm a really big fan of that look for Trunks, just because I'm sure as most of you would know if you follow, you know, Dragon Ball, that look was super popular in Japan for quite some time, and he would just show up in advertisements so often looking like that, and I just ended up really liking that look. So I really like it, kind of like Russian soldierish jacket. Very cool. Definitely both must-buys.
It's weird how Trunks has kind of become as close as the series has to a sexy male character. So he's the one you can kind of dress up and looks like that. You don't see anyone else like changing their costume out just to look cool. You actually, for Trunks, is more of a thing. I actually played the second game, the demo for it, when I was at New York Comic Con a few weeks ago. I actually was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed it. So I think I might grab the game. You know, next month my soul will be consumed by Pokemon Sun and Moon, but if I can squeeze it in somewhere, I might actually pick it up. It's all a good chance I'll have these figures too.
All right, they're good figures. Good that they're doing them. And also a lot of these new Trunks parts. You probably see a lot of people trying to kit bash it, try to make a regular Trunks out of it. I know, but this obviously shows that there is an existing, you know, 2.0 Trunks body that exists. So even if you don't care to kit bash, don't worry, it's gonna come.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Never doubt that.
We have Super Saiyan Gotenks. We also have 5 ghosts on display. The Kamikaze Ghost. Gotenks looks really great. Obviously, it's one of the figures where it's obvious to seems to be that they're focusing on the Majin Buu storyline. It is a new reveal, and again, as is anything with Dragon Ball, nothing is. While it's a reveal, nothing is a surprise because everything's going to be done eventually. So it's not that big of a deal. As far as you know, it being oh my god, you know, they're doing that character. It's really not that big of a deal. It's cool that they're doing it, and it's something that we expected. What do you guys think of Super Saiyan Gotenks SHF?
It's very awesome. Very awesome. Love seeing more characters getting done. You know, I really hope he comes with those 5 ghosts. At least 3 to 4. But I would truly be crazy about the figure if he actually got 5, and if for some strange reason he got 4 or more, for sure had 4 or more ghosts in his box, I would have to buy 2 just so I could have a bunch of ghosts.
Continuing. I mean, it's great to have a new character. Obviously, everyone's happy about that. It's nice to see the continuing of the tech. You know, like we saw along the Awakened Son Goku. It's speaking of his articulation. It's nice how like the ab joint, you know, is there, and because you has exposed chest, so having that cut there, but it looks nice. It works into the musculature very well. It's a very attractive looking figure, considering Gotenks would be an opportunity character you could, if you wanted to ever slum it. This just kind of reiterates that Bandai is not a company that takes it easy out and fits in front of them. They did a great job with this figure. Proportion looks very good. Articulation looks good. The expression on his face, you know, he's got that arrogant, smug little shit attitude that he has. It's fantastic. And yeah, if he actually comes with 5 ghosts, and he's a hell of a loaded figure. So here's looking forward to him.
Yeah, like I said, figure that, you know, we all expect that we're going to get. So it's good, and hopefully it does come with the 5 ghosts. They have 5 on display. And the fact that it's Super Saiyan Gotenks seems to imply that eventually they're going to offer a regular Gotenks and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks separately. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks would be an obvious one, but that way we can also probably get opportunities to get ghosts in different poses and different expressions and stuff like that. So let's hope. Or maybe they're just going to include regular Gotenks head with this one, and he'll only have like 1 or 2 expressions, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the only complaint that I have is just what any fan. I mean, well, at this point, they're so wrong with everything else, but that height is just way too big. But at this point, everybody's too big. Krillin is too big. Vegeta's too big.
Yeah, scale is definitely an issue in this line. Everyone's too averaged out.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, we are also getting regular Vegeta from the Saiyajin Saga. This is using the new body, which was developed for the recent Super Saiyan Vegeta. It's using that. You can tell from the muscles and everything. It's bigger. It's more buff looking. So this is a great way to get Saiyajin Saga Vegeta back out on the market. We haven't had him on the market for a while. He does go for a decent premium. We're also getting the reappearance of Nappa as well. When we first saw Nappa before, it was pretty much the final fight version with Goku, where his armor, he was basically shirtless, and he wasn't really wearing too much. So this is basically the version that I always imagined that we should technically get, which is the armored version, which would be, if you're only going to do one, this would be the one you'd do. Perhaps, I'm not sure if they're... I can't tell because I'm not handling the figure, and it's hard to tell from a picture. I'm not sure if he has a shirtless option. I'm just going to assume not. I don't think he does.
They don't usually, but in his case, it'd be easy and it would be nice of them.
Yeah, it would be a cool thing to do. But it would require a lot of different parts, optional parts. So I'm assuming that pretty much they're just going to be going for this, and you'll just have to figure out something for your final battle version. I think with
Nappa, since he's not wearing Under Armour underneath, you could literally just make the top armor snap off of him. It'd actually be very easy to do in his case, because I don't really see any joints in there.
Maybe they are. Who knows? Maybe they are. I have no idea, actually. Maybe they are.
He's got no rash guard on, so he could technically... You could do it. I'm not saying they are, but it's doable on him.
Yeah. Maybe they are. I have no idea.
I don't think they've ever done that in the SH Figure Arts line history of just... then part snaps off.
Yeah, I just think in general, with the armor and everything, it'd probably make them too bulky if it was removable. That's probably why they didn't do it. So... Again, we'll see more details of it, what he'll come with and what kind of options he has. I'm just going to assume that pretty much this is what we're going to get, and that other one was just a prototype, and they finalized on this one. So, and the nice thing, we're also getting a Vegeta to go with him. We didn't have that before, and a lot of people want this Vegeta, and now you don't have to go out and spend $200 on that one. You can just wait for this one to come out. So... There is that. Thoughts from everybody? We'll start with Breakdown.
Well, everybody's been wanting another Vegeta. People wanted a re-release, but now at this point, who gives a damn about a re-release? You want this one now, the updated style. This is it. So that's very awesome. That Nappa is fantastic. I've never been a big fan of the final fight shirtless look. I mean, I've just never been a fan. It's just too closed in of a look. But this figure looks fantastic. And I'm personally, just like we've said many times, and people like to get emotional and way too into their own opinions. We all knew that every figure is gonna come out eventually. A Nappa was gonna come eventually. It was still, they had a prototype before, so it was obviously on the radar. And I'm glad that they took the time and that they've made something completely different now that, to me looks way better than the one we had before. The proportions look a lot nicer. This is the look I prefer for Nappa, at least. If it came like with an option swappable top, that would be cool. But if I were to have to choose one version, this would be it, 100%. Very, very awesome.
Yeah, I agree with the one version. I mean, this is the one you'd have beat up on your Yamcha, the one you'd have fighting your TN, which are mysteriously both coming out soon. So yeah, this is the one you'd interact with those. You know, if you're going to have to pick one, you'd want to have the armor on. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he will be fully dusted off and released. I mean, considering that we right now are, what, like 7 figures shown that we haven't gotten yet, he could still be another year plus away. So, you know, we'll see when he actually does get solicited and released. But no, it's nice to add to the cast. He's, you know, a fairly important character. He's one of those kind of, you know, important because he is a Saiyajin, you know, mostly that very important hair that Saiyajins seem to love, but he is a Saiyajin, so great to have him in that lineup. And Vegeta, this is a good version of what Bandai likes to do. Bandai seems to doesn't like to do straight reissues. They like to give you wait until they give you a new version. So okay, they're giving you a new version of the Scouter Vegeta. It's an iconic one, especially for American fans. This is, you know, it's over 9,001. So, you know, this is it sucks for anyone who overpaid for the secondary market for those figures. But like we've always said, you know, that doesn't benefit the companies at all. Whenever they see something going for money, that's a surefire sign to them to either reissue or do a new version. So here it is.
All right, and yeah, like I said, none of it is a surprise. Maybe if there's enough demand, and maybe one day we'll get scene-specific versions of Goku and, you know, Nappa fighting each other, and, you know, their clothes all torn up. So maybe we will get that in the future if there's the demand. There's also Kaioken Son Goku that was displayed. This is basically the old Son Goku mode, painted to look and red tint, along with the, I guess, prototype LED enhanced auras and, you know, stuff like effect parts that they're showing off, which are very early in the prototype stages, it seems. This figure is likely, I assume, probably going to be an SDCC exclusive or some kind of exclusive because it's on the old body. But it also is possible that this is just a mock-up, and maybe that they're gonna they'll do something else. Maybe it'll get improved more as time goes on. Maybe they'll also put it on the new body. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think it's something that makes a good exclusive, considering we're kind of running out of different exclusives and recolors to do. So, what do you guys think?
I mean, it's this again, like I said, goes with that scene. This is a version that smacks Nappa around like a disobedient child. So, you know, this is a good one to have to go with your Nappa, you know, and your other ones. As for the light up, you know, LED background, it's a cool idea. Well, you know, obviously what we're actually kind of seeing in these pictures, these Dengeki hobby pictures, is the danger that a lot of people like to use these things for pictures, and that the actual result of taking a picture is massively oversaturated. So its usefulness for photography will be determined by how the final product is and how clever people are with it. But, you know, let's see what happens when it eventually comes out.
Yeah, I think it's worth commenting on. You know, a lot of people weren't seeing the full picture of the display there for a Kaioken version. This is 100%. I repeat, this is 100% an actual figure that says it is the Kaioken version of Goku. This isn't like a very bright red light shining on the Goku. I know a lot of people were looking at this picture and were writing it off and specifically saying like, oh man, this just looks like it's to display the aura effect. Like it looks like there's probably just a really bright red light on it. There's absolutely not. I'm sure there is a light there, but that is 100% a Kaioken version of Goku. So there's no debating.
I mean, there's a tag right there.
Yeah, there's the tag right there. This isn't just a red light shining on a regular Goku figure. That is not the case. This is actually a Kaioken version of Goku. It's cool.
And again, appropriate.
Yeah, appropriate. Yeah, it's cool. Definitely seems like more of something some people would like to buy as an exclusive. You know, immediately when people started seeing this and they found out that it was definitely a figure that was on the radar for them, that they all were hoping it was an exclusive version and not something that was going to take up a regular release slot. I tend to agree with that idea. It is cool to have. You know, we've seen him going Kaioken recently in the tournament, so there is, you know, some sort of relevance there. It's a cool piece. I'd buy it either way. I buy everything anyways. But yeah, I think it's cool. Something that I was sure was eventually going to happen. You know, every single version of Goku you can imagine. You know,
I'm surprised it took this long.
Goku with the heart flu and he's about to die before Trunks gets there. Imagine it all. It's all going to come eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully, we'll get more details on it. I think if they do want to do a more Kaioken version figure, if they want to do like a real big release for it, maybe maybe we'll get to see it on a new body, or maybe let's release this version. This will be the final time we see this body. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go. Maybe this will be the first way you get this LED effect, red color version.
Yeah, considering they don't actually have they have a card for that, it's almost as though they're saying that that's the set.
Yeah, it is possible. So yeah, we'll see what happens as more details get revealed, which hopefully should be soon. I mean, you know, Dragon Ball is a big property for them in the U.S., so it's always something that, you know, they're probably thinking about how to do it. All right, and here are Ten Shinhan and Yamcha, which were pulled at SDCC, but were on full display at New York Comic Con. I believe we've already kind of touched upon these already, so there's not really too much to say. But I mean, they do look really good. Again, you guys can see they have all the newly updated articulation, and looks like pretty much the exact same prototypes that were on display at New York Comic Con. Actually,
That was only like 2 weeks ago.
you know, they even have like the same heads on and everything too. So yeah, they're on the exact same poses as well. So that's what leads me to believe that. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts on Ten Shinhan and Yamcha?
They were cool, just
Cool,
as when I saw them at Comic Con, and then the second time when we saw them at New York Comic Con, and now the third time, yeah, just as good.
Yeah, these are much demanded characters. They're Z warriors. They're essentials. You know, I consider anyone who's anything above even the most entry level fan would consider these must buy. I mean, unless you're someone who just buys, you know, Saiyajins, who just buy Goku or Vegeta, then yeah, these are part of the cast. These are essential figures. So, you know, and I think also a lot of people I don't see it being an issue, but also a lot of people do understand they do need to buy these figures because, you know, you can't have these secondary characters flopping and then we bitch at Bandai, why aren't you doing this character? Why are you doing another Goku? Why are you doing another Vegeta? I want this. Like, well, we gave you not Goku and Vegeta, and y'all didn't bloody well buy it. So bloody well buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so yeah. Moving on. We're seeing the rest of the gold god cloths for Saint Seiya. Here's Aphrodite. We haven't seen them before. I mean, we've seen the design, but we haven't. I think the figure we might have seen before, but I don't quite remember. It just all kind of jumbles because it's stuff that we're all gonna get. We're gonna get everything anyway, so it's one of those things. You can see. I think this is the first time we're seeing Doko, though. I don't think we've seen Doko before. He's actually 100%. He's a reveal, although like I said, it's not a big reveal just because we knew we were gonna get it anyway. I mean, this whole Soul of Gold thing was more or less created for the sake of selling these figures to you anyway, so that's how I kind of see it. There's a Miro as well. I believe this might be the first time we're seeing Miro. So I think maybe all three of these actually is the first time. It just, again, I've seen these designs so often that it just seems like I've seen them before. So, any thoughts on these three, guys?
Oh yeah, let me just tell it to you guys like this. These are basically the heroes of the Zodiac.
Not all of them, actually.
Boom.
Some of them are assholes of the Zodiac.
There we go. Asshole heroes of the Zodiac. That's them.
No, some of them aren't heroic at all. Pisces is a fucking asshole who died like a bitch and deserved to.
Oh, there we go. You heard it from Mr. Red himself.
Right.
No, these are very nice designs, you know, very ornate. The one I actually say I'm the most disappointing to me is Libra Doko. considering this is one who's known to have all the 12 weapons for the gold, they look like they've kind of been reduced to a Dharma hanging off his back. And actually, it's actually kind of unimpressive. I think they actually could have gone a little bit more ambitious with that. So he's a little ho-hum there. And, you know, Miyoru's one I like. You know, he shares a voice actor with one of the great gods of anime. He's, you know, Shueisha Ikeda is his voice actor, also known as Chara's novel. So I'm all about him. It's a little clunky that those big old claws just kind of hang off his back there. I mean, they're impressive looking. They look kind of mystical, I guess. But, you know, I guess that's the thing about these things being armored. There's not that much you can do with these things. You don't have that much freedom. And, you know, it's not like a Transformer. It's like, well, we'll have this become his hip, and this will become, you know, his left toe. It's like, no, well, this becomes armor, and everything else just kind of will hang off his backpack. So very flashy looking, very pretty. You know, they'll look really good on display all lined up together.
Right.
These are really nice looking figures. I'm just obviously, as you could tell, I'm not the Saint Seiya guy, but they look really, really nice. I love the look of these figures.
Yeah, they're good. Like I said, I think this pretty much completes the God Cloths of the Gold. And
on to God Cloth EX.
So we'll see what happens. And then we also have Capricorn Shura, the surprise version. Which I don't know why I feel like we've already gotten them, but whatever. Anyway, I feel like we've already gotten them. I don't think he's actually a reveal. But okay, you know what? Whatever. Where Cam used also his labels on Aquarius as well, but there's no picture of him. But hey, you know what? They're all gonna come on. This is like this line is like Dragon Ball. In fact, for some people, this line is actually even bigger than Dragon Ball. If we're just speaking worldwide. They're doing everybody eventually. So
most of these characters, these are their double dips for Camu and Shura. These are the double dips of these corrupt evil versions. So
yeah,
everyone's getting done twice or 3 times over. So yeah.
And there's Minos. We've been waiting for him for a while since they ever did the Radamantes EX version. Now there's a Minos EX version. We've been waiting for him, and he looks incredible. And of course, you get Radamantes. I'm assuming they're going to reissue him, in celebration that they're doing these 2 guys, his other 2 guys. Ayakos is also on display, but we don't have a picture of him in this gallery, oddly. But we'll go back to it eventually. It looks good. The Griffin Minos. And we're also getting more of the small 4-inch line of Saint Seiya. The DDP version. This looks to be the final set, I assume. This has, the tower and has these guys you can beat up on. It has Athena. It looks like the guys you beat up on Athena are unposable, so they're just more or less kind of for the display. It looks good. And these guys look kind of cool too. Too bad I'm not sure if I don't know. You can buy them, and I'm not sure if they're going to be sold in 3 packs or they're going to be sold in this set, and you only have 3. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it, but
just says Golden Zodiac Extension Set, Fire Clock of the Sanctuary, Goddess Athena and Soldiers.
Panoramition.
Yep. Extension set. So yeah, so that's how you're gonna get it. It's just DD Panoramition line. And
Panoramition.
These are both accessory sets, essentially. So that's how they're doing it. It's all good. You guys have any thoughts on this?
I don't buy the 4-inch line, but it's nice that they're using to do stuff like this. I mean, we always kind of joke / wish that there would be some soldiers in the larger line, just because that is what they spend most of their time punching the crap out of. So, it's nice. The Athena is nice. I would consider, for the most part, if you buy St. Claus Myth and EX and such, that this is a fairly superfluous line. It's only if you really like that little still undersized diorama. If you like that display aesthetic where I don't even really consider it cheaper as an issue, because this is, again, another fandom where most of the fans of it are adults. They're well into their 30s. If you were a fan of this back when it came out in the late 80s. So I figure for most of those fans, a $60, $70, $100 figure every month or two is not a big deal. So, if you just want something small and collectible, I guess it's a nice alternative, but I still consider the line to be fairly unnecessary if you've already been actively collecting the larger figures.
Hard to argue, but if you guys are into the DD Panormation line, this is cool that they're doing these. I'm curious of the line. Looks like this is pretty much the end. So I'm curious the line's going to go any further. But hey, it is cool that they're doing these accessories and stuff. So, anyways, it's supposed to kind of, I guess, if either you can't afford the St. Cloth Myth line, is too expensive, or maybe you like a smaller scale, you don't have as much space, but then you love to play value, which they have because they have all the diorama bases and everything. Maybe that's just what you prefer. And anyone, it's okay if you like it. But here are two of the awesome things that they're doing for it. So. All right, moving on from Saint Seiya, the Kinnikuman, we are finally getting Terry Man. A lot of guys have been waiting for Terry Man. We're finally getting him. It looks awesome. We're getting Brocken. This is basically I forgot which battle it was, but they're all based on manga coloring right here. So I don't know if they're, and it looks like all these ones reviewed, you guys can see right here. All of these are pretty much manga color versions. So I'm not sure what they're doing here. If they're just, saying fuck you to the anime line and making everyone buy their OCE versions first. I'm not sure, but that seems to be what's going on. They're finally getting Sunshine. We're getting
Sunshine is crazy looking figure.
We're getting Ashraman. He's also the original color version. This one, I actually think the original color version is cooler, personally. But
very impressive.
It's kind of like a it's just a preference thing, I guess. But Sunshine, incredible, awesome. We're getting him. Sunshine, one of the coolest guys ever. Awesome villain. We're getting also manga versions of these guys as well. I think this is the anime version. I think this one is. I don't remember. It's been a while, but we're getting these. I think these guys are actually anime version though. Silverman and Strong Debuto. And this is actually Neptune Man OCE version. It's pretty cool. All right, what do you guys think of the Kinnikuman reviews?
Man,
They look nice.
this is such a cool line. I wish I was a fan of this series. I really only grew up with the series about his child, and it was called Ultimate Muscle here. So I don't really know this series like that. But they're really cool. Honestly, if I had the foresight, I would have told myself just to get into the series from the get-go and start watching the anime. But now, so many figures go for so much money that I'm not really interested in having to go back and buy things. But it's a really cool line, man. Very awesome for people that like the series because, even from the outside looking in, it's kind of like, damn, I wish I could spend my money on these because they look really cool.
All right. The Kinnikuman line seems to be doing pretty well. We actually heard some interesting stories about how the creation of Kinnikuman line, which we can share online. But there are a decent amount of reviews. Like Terry Man's been one a lot of fans have wanted for a while. He's kind of like the best friend of Kinnikuman, so it's cool that we're getting him finally. So I collect this line casually. I was a fan of Kinnikuman as a kid. I think it's a funny comic. But there's actually some good scenes too. It seems to be a lot of people in the U.S. have an affinity towards the Kinnikuman Nisei, which is a second generation, which is about the original Kinnikuman's son and his adventures. And Although it seems to be not as popular as a classic Kinnikuman man right now. So maybe in the future that might happen. We'll just have to see. Moving on, we have the reveal of Gara, SH Figure Arts. And that seems to be the only reveal from Naruto that we got at the show.
Oh, the updated Sakura.
Well, update Sakura, she's not really reviewed because we've seen it before.
Hey, man, she's changed, man.
The Gara looks really great. We've actually known that they were going to do Gara for a while because he was kind of at the top of the list when the line was first more or less conceived.
Yeah, he's an obvious choice.
So there's that we're not seeing. The fact that we're seeing him, is very good and shows that that we're finally going to be getting more characters and stuff. So thoughts on Gara?
Huge Gara fan. Was always very sad he didn't get to do much in the second half in the Shippuden period. I was a big fan of him from the first half. He's like up there by top 3 characters. So he's an easy. I'll probably might grab 2 of them. We'll see. He's an easy must grab for me. So very excited for this release. Now I just watch probably my favorite character, Shikamaru. Well, he's the other one I want next. Go Rick Dom.
Yeah, this Gara is awesome. It's funny that Red says that a lot of people have been, like, throughout the entirety of this series, been on my ass about a damn Shikamaru. Like, it's no business. It's coming.
Shikamaru, he's the fucking man.
Yeah, it's coming. This very, very
cool. He's easy to do. He's coming.
Yeah, Gara visually, design-wise, always been such a cool looking character, and this figure is no different. Looks very awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Like you said, hopefully we see more reveals of some other Naruto characters outside of the main catalog. You see more in the spirit of a line like the Sailor Moon line or Dragon Ball, where we start to get like a lot of cast members. So it keeps the line going. We'll go back to Sakura. We can probably, I believe there's a picture of her. There's a picture of her here. I'll find it. Let's say. Actually, I don't know where to find it. Bear with me. I'll pull up the Sakura photo, and along with other photos that we probably missed. Here we go. So there's a whole slew of new photos. Let's go to, there we go. As you guys can see, the Sakura looks a lot better than the one that was on display at SDCC. A lot of things have been fixed. This is probably much closer to the final version. So yeah, it looks really great. Definitely a must buy. We finally can complete Team 7 with her release. It would be nice if they also do a new Sasuke. The Sasuke without the part in the hair, which is basically the first version they did, which is the final version of Sasuke before the time skip. That'd be a great chance to do that version of that character of Sasuke. Just because like they did the new Naruto with the new sculpt and everything. So what do you guys think of Sakura?
Oh man, I'm liking it a lot more. Definitely.
Yeah, as we discussed. Yeah, as was discussed in Pride, her face is pretty perfect now. It looks just like she's right out of the comic. The body line is very nice. She'll get that nice, the skinny, feminine look to it. Yeah, she's a hell of a lot better than the Sasuke that we've gotten so far. So there's that.
Yeah, this is the Sasuke that we got is not like a terrible figure. It just definitely could work for some improvements. Definitely seems like the figure was designed a little while back, and now that they're designing new figures, they've learned a lot more since. It's always the problem whenever when companies do characters like main characters early. Sometimes they learn a lot more when they do other versions, and sometimes what happens is figures end up feeling outdated. The early figures in the line are outdated because they didn't know as much when they designed those figures. So that's a very common thing. And this is unfortunately for Sasuke. While it's not a bad figure, it definitely feels like they could have done more, could have given us something better. And hopefully, I'm sure it would be a great time to go ahead and just do a new version. You guys can probably make it specific somehow. Maybe they could give him, they could do like a final battle, Naruto and Sasuke. That's pretty much the version that I think needs to be redone. So, although Naruto, if you do that version, his jacket needs to be unzipped. So that would be a good way to get, another Naruto out there as well. So, anyways, moving on. Looks like we're pretty much done with all the Show Me Jump stuff, so we can skip that. You guys want to do next? Maybe do Gundam next. Do Gundam next. These are all the NX Edge figures. We're getting Z Gundam. We're getting version KA Wing Gundam. That looks like a transform as well. We're getting. I think this is the repainted Strike Freedom metallic version. I think we're getting I think these are already out, but okay, maybe we haven't got them because I don't collect this line. So forgive me if they actually aren't out yet, and these are reveals. We're getting Banshee, the first version. We're getting Unicorn, red frame. I know these are new. We're getting the Nightingale, and we're also going to be getting Hainu as well. So it looks like it links to the picture with just the Hainu in it. So, what do you guys think of these NX Edge figures?
They're at the edge of NX. They're at the edge of NX. Tell you that. They're cool little figures. I don't really remember the retail for them, but I know that they've never interested me, just from what I remembered seeing before.
The smaller one, the rest of them.
Well, actually, according to this list down here, all of these are not reveals. The only ones that are reveals are the Z Gundam with the Mega Launcher and the Wing Gundam, the KA one. So all these are actually all out, which I thought they were because I figured I'd seen them before. But hey, whatever. So what do you guys think of these two?
I mean, the only one I've gotten the entire line is actually Mazin Kaiser. I still need to get Nightingale because I'm a huge fan of that. But I don't there's so much SD Gundam stuff. It's not something I really often spend my time or money on. And I consider these are an awkward halfway point. They've got very detailed sculpts, but then the fact that they look like they desperately need some paint to pick them out on it, it just kind of feels like a weird little, not cheap, but also not high-end, middle of the road line. I just don't really bother with them.
All right, so there you have it. Our friend Red Comet Custom, who was a huge Gundam fan, is only very casually buying them. And I don't actually buy them at all, although some of these are pretty cool. They're kind of fall in the more mid-tier category. They're kind of like as you guys can see right here, the prices range from $25 to $50, depending which one you get. So it's one of those kind of things where I think it's more in the mid-tier category as far as pricing goes. So, but they do look nice and they're pretty articulated and decent.
And they usually have option parts and decent amount of accessories. They're not bad little figures, but
they aren't like there aren't Tamashi buddies where it's just a figure just stands there. They actually are posable and stuff, so it's understandable. For pricing, we have the reveal of the Metal Build 00 Quanta, and And we also have a display of, ones that you can no longer get, such as Avalanche Exia and 007 Sword, 007 Sword. So those aren't actually being reissued, but they are going to be releasing a 00 Quanta. You guys can see it right here. The concept design for it. Looks like it's designed by Kanetake Aikawa. So. We're also going to be getting the F91 metal build. This is already going up for pre-order pretty soon. It's going to be going on the next Bandai drop.
Oh.
As a collaboration piece with the original designer, Kunio Okawara, who was the designer of the original F91 in the series. Again, looks like he probably sketched up a new design, and the toy designers just had a parade on it, basically. So, very looking forward to that piece. What are you guys' thoughts on the metal build 00 Quanta and F91?
I can't wait to see the Quanta. It should look very nice. Metal build is one of the most premier, higher end lines for Bandai right now. They've obviously been very surprised with the success. You're having the very nice artistic interpretation with that high end metal feel that robot collectors like. Obviously, Bandai is very fond of, in their high end lines. So, yeah, I mean, the 00 series has proven to be quite popular with its fans over time. So, the Quanta's definitely an event piece. Quanta's always an interesting piece when they do it because there's quite a bit of engineering involved. Considering you have a giant shield hanging off of one arm, and that needs to split off into sword. So it's always interesting to see how they enact that on these more high-end figures. F91, we've seen that for a while. It looks way, way sexier than F91 has a right to look. It looks like a completely romanticized version. It looks really nice. I have yet to buy any metal builds. I'm a little pickier on this line. Again, a lot of these higher-end Gundam. The main with Gundam I buy crazy on is MGs. Everything else I'm actually very picky about. It's one that if they were to do my specific favorites, I wouldn't hesitate. A Sazabi metal build, an Infinite Justice metal build, those would be non-issues for me. I'd buy them without a doubt. F91, it looks really nice. I just don't care enough on F91. And for me, for me, I do need to care about the mecha beyond it just looking really, really nice.
How about you, Ergum?
Oh, they're cool pieces. Very, very cool looking pieces.
All right, so there you have it. As for myself, these are both must-buys for me. I have great memories of F91 as a kid. The design is cool, but this is an ultimate F91 for me. So definitely a big fan, and I'm definitely gonna grab it no matter what. If I can, I'll probably grab more than one. As for Metal Gear 00 Quantum, I'm also a huge fan of that as well, so I'm definitely gonna grab that also. So if you guys are Metal Build fans, it looks like we're gonna be getting some other cool Metal Build stuff coming up as well. So moving on. I believe some of these have already been shown. I think the review right here was the Delta Plus, which is the Robot Damashi KA series, Delta Plus. So, and the Zeta Plus. This is Zeta Plus, isn't it? There's a Delta Plus. I don't remember.
It's Zeta. I mean, Delta's Delta. That's Zeta Plus.
Zeta Plus. Sorry, sometimes I get mixed up because sometimes the Delta suits look like Zetas. So this is part of the Gundam Sentinel series. As you can see, that with more or less the designer Hajime Katoki pretty much was the main designer of all the suits in that series. So this is him basically doing his new version, the Zeta Plus. I think this is it's whatever, but it's the Zeta Plus.
Fill in the blank version.
Yeah. It's the gray one. There's another one that's like a red, a white one, and a blue and white one, but this is the gray one. It's very cool. What do you guys?
Pretty diverse version.
What do you think of the Zeta Plus Robot Damashi version K8?
I'm not going to buy it, but it looks really nice. Again, you can't fault the design on it. You know, the Katoki, most of the time, especially when it comes to UC suits, that man is the god of the UC redesigns. Zeta, the Z Plus is a popular design. It's pretty much the skinny, dynamic little brother to the traditional Zeta Gundam. So, yeah, you know, for a lot of people, it's definitely a bit of an event piece. And as you already implied, you know, it also has the upshot that you can recolor the wazoo out of it. So, smart choice for Bandai there.
You, Rick Dom? What do you have to say about this?
Well, it's a lot of things. There you have it.
But your review is not correct. No.
And we're getting an MS Girl S Gundam. You know, it looks cool, cute. And there's also a review, I believe, as well, next to the Zeta Plus. All right, moving on. We're getting an option set for the metal build red frame. Very cool. It's got a big katana handle and everything. It's very over the top. Very super robot-ish. This is called the Powered Red and 150 Gerber Straight option set. So it's very cool. What do you guys think of this option set for the metal build red frame?
It's great. I mean, the Estrays always have a lot of option parts, so it's definitely nice to see them embracing it. I mean, they definitely went all out. As you can tell by that Gabura straight blade right there. You know, actually, obviously, you could never have a full sword in scale with it. Sort of just handing him a real size katana, but no, it's definitely it's nice when Bandai, you know, goes all out and does. I mean, while it's not a lot of money from the retool, it's a more obscure thing, and I'm sure fans of the comic are definitely, you know, going very crazy over it.
How about you, Rick? Don, what do you think of the Gabura Straight 150?
That's straight to 150.
All right. Well, this is definitely an awesome piece. If you have the red frame, which I own, definitely is a must-have. So, gonna have to get this for sure. Moving on, we got a new SDX Gundam. Looks like it has option parts. You have a Hero Yui head on it as well.
That's always worth it for that.
You know, it's obviously based on Wing Gundam. There's no picture of the Hero Yui head except for right here. You can see it right here, all the options it has. Looks very cool. I don't follow the SDX series, but the SDX series is kind of like the higher end stuff for the SD Gundam series. This is called the Divine Knight Wing. It's like $120 basically. So obviously, definitely more on the high end side. It's very cool. What do you guys think of the Divine Knight Wing?
I am thoroughly amused by Hero Yui head. I'm not gonna lie, that is almost worth the price of admission right there. Not gonna buy it. Don't follow SDX enough, but it's a nice piece. It's nice that someone should always consider the kind of the kiddie sideline SD actually does get a little adult-oriented love these days, so I'm totally in favor of that. But I have no real connection to it, so.
How about you, Rick? Now, what do you think?
Well, it's an SD, all right.
All right, so there you have it. Very cool. The Hero Yui head is. I'm curious if they're going to be. It's going to be a ongoing trend with other stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're going to start to see everyone. Are we going to get a duo Death Scythe?
All right. This is something that's very interesting. It's been a little bit of a hiatus on the Metal Robot Tamashi for a while, but it looks like they revealed the next entry in the line, which is the Metal Robot Tamashi Night Gundam. Very, very cool. I'll probably buy this one just because there's no real Night Gundam merchandise out there, and this is really cool and very fitting for a Chogokin piece. So, what do you guys think of the Metal Robot Tamashi Night Gundam?
I mean, you appreciate my frustration on the head there. I've wanted a MG of Night Gundam since the Gundam Musou 3, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 came out and he made his appearance there. I've actually really wanted an MG of it. I've been a little annoyed they never bothered doing it, having done the 2 Mushas. It's so seeing this one thing, I'd almost be tempted to get it. I don't really collect the line, but I would be tempted to get it just to have something to represent it. I do like that design quite a bit and wish it got a little bit more direct love from Bandai.
Rick down?
Let's just say that I agree with everything Brian said.
Except in reverse.
Except paint it pink.
Yeah, so the Knight Gundam is pretty much an SD Gundam, but this is the real type version. So it's very cool. It's kind of like considered like the main like the main character of the SD Gundam series, kind of. At least there it's kind of like a heroic, like a knight. So it's kind of cool. So.
And for those who haven't played it, in the 3rd installment in the Dynasty Warriors Gundam series, it's featured pretty much as the primary antagonist, as the rival that unifies all the sides against it, and is the final boss in the game. So it's one of the more badass, overpowered suits in that game. So I would still very much like to have it just based on that representation. Yeah.
All right. So we're getting Zegok in regular colors. It's pretty cool. For the classic Robotamashi anime line. We're also getting a G Fortress. Which is cool that we're getting.
Remember back when we made up stupid shit to take your money? Well, we're going to remind you of that stupid shit to take your money. Love Bandai!
So yeah, we're getting a G Fortress, which is awesome that we're getting it. And we're going to get it anyway, because they always do G Fortress eventually. So.
Yeah, very cool.
And I think no one else has much to say about G Fortress, so we'll just go. G Fighter. All right. Let's move on to Macross. They revealed the Chogokin series, the DX Chogokin VF31J with the armor parts, with the super parts or armor parts, whatever you want to call them. I think in the show they're called armor parts, I believe. Let's see here. Super Pack. Okay, the Super Pack. Ayate's Gundam from. They don't say it often. That's the problem. So I always forget what it is. I just know it's armor. So the super parts. You can see it in different form. This Valkyrie's already went up for order. So these super parts
already long sold out.
Tamashi Web Shop exclusive for these super parts. So. Then we have Mirage at Figure Art Zero, which has already went up for order as well. The High Metal R series, we have gotten the actual special effects parts for the Kawamori style missiles effect. Very cool.
Those look really cool.
So if you're a guy who's collecting the High Metal R series, this is actually up for order right now. It comes with basically enough effects for 2 different Valkyries. So, you don't have to buy like one for every single Valkyrie you have. You could just kind of, you have to change the missile pods though, because it only comes with one type of missile pods effects for one type. So, but it is very cool that they're doing it. It's a must buy if you're collecting the High Metal R series. What do you guys think of the Macross stuff?
I don't know anything about Macross, so there's that.
All right, so he knows nothing about Macross. How about you, Rick?
Macross is another one of the series where I very much enjoy when I'm watching it. Doesn't get a lot of my money for whatever subconscious reasons I can't explain, but I do enjoy the series. I have not watched any of Delta yet. I will, if anything, when it's done, I'll probably sit and watch just marathon the whole thing, which I'd actually say is the wrong answer if you actually like these things, because the Valks, the diecast ones, tend to be fairly hard to get, but so be it. I'm not planning on buying any of them. I've bought any so far, but I do enjoy Macross, and they look like, they always do a fantastic job on them. those effects parts are actually tempting because those would have, well, those are most definitively Macross. So many other people have intentionally or not homage that missile pod style that those actually could be fairly universal in other situations. So the pods or missile trails are definitely worth getting in general. So there is that option as well.
All right, moving on. We have the VF1A Armored Valkyrie. This is from the Aiha Nagaru version, which is odd that they're doing it, but hey, whatever. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a Tamashi web shop exclusive. It's basically a black VF1A with heavy armor parts. It's cool that they're doing it because it's easy for them to do. That's why they're doing it. So
yeah, money to be made.
The second stuff in the high metal R line is the Dugram series, which is a series created by the Voldem's creator, Ryosuke Takahashi. It's never a series I ever really got attached to, at least in the same way as Voldem's. I'm not more of a Voldem's person, but these Dugram high metal R are really nice looking. This is already up for pre-order. It's already been up for pre-order. And, they're showing it off, but obviously just pimping the line. And they are showing the next series they're covering is Zabungo. I've never really been a big fan of Zabungo either, but it's cool that they're doing it, and it's cool that these high metal R is successful enough that they're branching out to other lines outside of Macross. And the next one big metal build reveal that we got during the show, it actually was revealed before the show, was actually made to coincide with the announcement of Full Metal Panic 4, which is happening next year. A lot of companies are pretty much starting to pop out more Full Metal Panic stuff in anticipation of the new series, and Bandai is definitely not one of those guys that slacked off on that either. We've gotten the Leviathan as a metal build in the past, not too long ago. And now with the announcement of the new anime series, they're doing an Arbalist as well. Currently in the anime series, the main character, Sagara Sosuke, is still actually piloting the Arbalist, so he actually still has Arbalist right now. And this is probably going to be the best Arbalist toy probably ever made, even better than the Alter All Mecha version. Right now, it looks like it's still kind of not really in the early phases, since we actually have a physical prototype, but obviously there's still a lot more to happen. Looks like he comes with a launch, weapons rack and launch pad and everything, so it's very cool. You could see in the right here that all the different probably features and in the CAD scans they have, it's obviously going to be very articulated, lots of cool engineering for sure. So what do you guys think of the Arbalist metal build?
This one's a strong maybe for me. I'm actually, back in the day, was a pretty big fan of the first two seasons of Full Metal Panic. I never got around to watching Second Raid, especially once I heard it was over. I heard that it didn't end, and the next season should be coming soon. I'm sure Emmy can tell us how many years ago that shit was. So, but back in the day, I was a pretty big fan of Full Metal Panic. I enjoyed the first two seasons very much. I hope to finish up the series in the near future. So, yeah, this is actually a strong maybe for me. I do like the design Arbalist. I do like the characters quite a bit. So, this might be a buy for me.
How about you, Rick, though?
It's a very cool looking piece. It's a series, highly anticipated to come back. Very cool piece. Can't wait to see it in color.
Yeah, oddly enough, there's a lot of people who are actually very much looking forward to the return of Full Metal Panic, even though it hasn't really been that relevant for a while. So the novel has actually finished quite a while ago, and everyone's kind of hoping that the anime would continue after that. But it's been even several years since then, so it's nice to know that we're finally gonna get the conclusion all the fans deserve. So, all right, moving on, we have the Rhynek, which is Aura Battler. I think he's a bad guy. It's a reveal from pretty much. So I don't think I have this one yet. There's so many Aura Battlers, I always kind of forget. So, we're finally getting the AUG as well. The AUG is like the main bad guy of the fucking what the fuck? Goddamn Elgheim. Like, what the fuck is the series called again? So I remember, but Elgheim is an awesome series. Even I forgot the name of it, but this is the main bad guy from AUG. So we're getting NX Edge, EVA 01, and EVA 0, Unit 0 as well. So you guys go back to NX Edge, you guys are fans, and want to collect something, SD, Evangelion. This is pretty cool.
There's not as much SD stuff for Evangelion, so they're probably a little more welcome to the fandom there.
Yeah. And it looks like we're getting NX Edge Digimon as well, with Alphamon. So, if you can't afford SHF,
sure,
you just want something, that this is cool. So, all right, keep going. We have a lot of new Patlabor stuff being shown. A lot of them, I'm not sure if they're all coming out, but obviously the development team just made a bunch of prototypes. So we're getting a lot of cool stuff. Some of these we've seen before already. We're just seeing more of them. A lot of cool labors that we haven't seen before in Robot Damashi form. So it's cool that we're getting them. It looks like, judging from this list, they cut off the thing about if they're on sale, or some of these are obviously on sale, like the main ones right here, like the engrams and stuff. Those are all coming out. But then some of these other things, like this, this like trailer and stuff, and these guys, and this one right here. I'm not sure exactly what the status on those are. But the fact that it is always a good thing if the line does well, and the fact that these actual prototypes exist, it does mean that we could have a chance. If the line does well, we could get them all. So, anyways, what do you guys think of the Patlabors that are being shown?
I'll let Rick be awkward first. Go for it, Rick.
Boom. I've never seen Patlabor. I think the designs are very cool, but they're just not my thing. Very cool looking designs though. So much so that it would tempt me to watch because the designs are so cool.
Patlabor, something I've discussed with EMIYA in private, that it's something that I'm surprised they haven't tried to re-push. I feel like the whole police mecha thing is a nice design, nice concept, should be a more active license. I've never seen anything for it. I'm not planning to buy anything in the near future, but I feel like it's an underutilized property that, and it's always nice to see it getting some extra love.
All right. Yeah, like I said, Patlabor has always been one of those very cool. The thing about Patlabor is the engram design, I actually feel like it's actually more popular than the series itself. A lot of people who I know who love the engram design, they're just like, your mecha fans. And then they watch Patlabor and they're actually very kind of bored by it, mainly because Patlabor deals with a lot of social commentary, and it also deals with a lot of politics. So it's not like the most action-packed series. But it is a really great series if you're the type of person who has the patience to sit through it and understand what's going on. There is actually a lot of I'm always a big fan of things that have something to say, and Patlabor, the series, speaking from the like the social commentary standpoint, and just speaking from the political standpoint, there is a lot to say in this series. It's a lot of metaphors for a lot of things that go on in the real world, and there is action as well. There is action, and it's pretty good. When it's there. The TV series is definitely more the direction you want to go to. You want to see the more action, but the movies are definitely a lot more about the politics and social commentary and stuff. So they are Mamoru films after all. So anyways, moving on from Patlabor, we're going to go into the territory that that Rick is most comfortable in. Aikatsu, SH Figure Arts, which is one of Rick's biggest favorite series. All right, so what do you think of these Aikatsu figures?
One of the
Why don't
greatest
you just
series ever.
why don't you just take us through these Aikatsu series?
See, that person he has right now, that is a very special character. They call her Purple Hair.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. This guy doesn't know anything about Aikatsu.
Abort the conversation. Pull out now. That's a lot of Pikachu.
I don't actually watch Aikatsu. It's basically a series which is banking on the. I mean, don't get me wrong. Just because I'm saying this doesn't mean it's a bad series. I'm just saying it's one of the series that's banking on the very popular idol anime, which is very popular right now.
Congratulations.
As you guys can see, they are doing pretty much every fucking girl from the series, and
Including some like weird stuffed animal person.
and
Congratulations.
they look good. They look good. They look good. They look like some of the better female figures that Bandai's done of this type. They normally, a lot of the time when it comes to the anime girls type figures, action figures, the SHF lines just can't compete with the Figma line.
Yeah, we all know how much the Love Life figure sucked.
But these look pretty good. I haven't handled them myself. I don't know what their butts look like and stuff like that. The problem with the butts of the Love Life figures is they weren't really butts. It was just had two big ball joints. So that was kind of the problem. Anyways,
So it was more than that. Those figures just suck.
I was just gonna say, congratulations, Amy. It took to episode 8 to find a license for all three of us to finally shrug our arms and say, I got nothing.
Yeah. So
This is a great unifier.
Yeah, Aikatsu. I don't watch it myself, but they're nice looking figures. I don't know who these characters are, but they look good. They look good. I'm not knocking it or anything. So all the fans of Aikatsu, one of them is Mitsuki, one is Sakura, one is Kaide. They're all winter uniform version. These are obviously 3 reveals because I'm assuming all these other girls are already out or been shown before. So we'll move on from that. This is something that I know nothing about, but these guys on here know a lot about. These are Pokemon figures, SH Figure Arts, where a lot of people have been waiting for a while.
I'm thoroughly amused that they put that crappy Pikachu figure arts in the background. Like, please buy this
I'll let
thing.
these guys talk about these SH Figure Arts.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about them first so you guys can see them, because when I talk, you can see my screen. These guys don't have these pictures showing, but basically they're doing Musashi and Kojiro, and they're doing Satoshi. Those are their Japanese names. I forgot what their American names are.
Jesse, James, and Ash.
Yeah, their SH Figure Arts are based on TV anime. It looks like the very first versions of these characters.
First season.
It's the first versions, right? So,
yeah.
And they're highly anticipated. You know, people know that this is you know, this is one of those things a lot of guys have been waiting for. So, anyways, guys, you guys can talk about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. You know, it's like, wow, look at these figures that you've been wanting, and then look at this Pikachu that you guys didn't buy.
What's hilarious? This is the first picture I see where actually the photographer didn't crop out those Pikachu. Like, I don't even know those were there.
Yeah, like look at the size of that Pikachu. That's like a person in a Pikachu suit.
And about the same quality.
Yeah, terrible.
What a terrible figure.
Very, very smart for the Ash figure to I'm just gonna call it Ash because that's what the viewers are gonna know it as.
Yeah, let's go with the easy.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know it by Satoshi and Kojiro and and Ash. He looks pretty good.
Looks great. He looks great.
Yeah, he looks pretty damn good. The legs are great.
Perfect.
Yeah, he looks damn near perfect for sure. Jesse's hair is kind of troublesome with that stand holding it up. Hopefully that's just the Protos thing, and they find a way to not make it so heavy. James looks fantastic. He's got that rose by any other name, look going. Meowth and Pikachu are very awesome accessories to see. They look like they have some very small articulation, which is cool. Anything is better than nothing.
Yep. I'm in a position where I am an absolutely huge and avid fan of the Pokemon game franchise. My Omega Ruby has 1,000+ hours. Hell, I've been hatching eggs the entire time we've been doing this broadcast. I have virtually no love in my heart at all for the anime. I watched it. I have a little bit of nostalgia for season 1. I watched it when I was the correct age. as an adult fan, I consider it shutter-worthy. So I can acknowledge these look really nice. I might buy an Ash for old time's sake, which is now vanished from my screen. I might buy an Ash for old time's sake.
The Facebook page.
Yep. A basic look at it, which I can only say from these basic pictures, is it looks like it's a little bit kind of almost a combination of the anime art with a little bit of the original artist of the game, the Sugimori Ken aesthetic, in that it looks especially like James is a little squatter than he is in the actual TV show. The TV show, him and Jesse and James are both fairly lanky characters. Here they look a little squatter. That might be the angle, but that's also kind of a signature of the Sugimori Ken style, where his characters are ever so slightly have SD proportions compared to straight up photo accurate humans. I can't say until I see them in front of me. It's really nice that they come with their Pokemon. I think that unfortunately the Pikachu that Ash comes with is very lackluster. That's mostly because there are literally hundreds and hundreds of Pikachu figurines that size out there.
Yeah.
A lot of them look really good. I think that one there is actually very lackluster. But that being said, for a mere 300 yen, you can get great ones to replace them with any number of expressions on its face. It's nice that Meowth comes with. I'm curious if the Jesse James is a 2-pack, or in this case a 3-pack, and they both come with Meowth, because he's kind of just sat in between them. So I'm curious if that is actually just a 3-pack, just a Team Rocket set. I'm curious.
I would hope so. I would hope
so. I mean, no one's gonna buy one and not the other.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to not have it that way.
They are a set. I don't see any indication they're going to come with their Season 1 signature Pokemons of Ekans and Coughing. Maybe they will. They're just not ready for display yet. I mean, again, they're findable in other mediums, but assuming that we're getting what we just see there, they look nice. They look great. I'm not enough of a fan of the TV show to drop the money on those, but I can acknowledge that they look incredible, and that, I mean, my Facebook board, I'm sure Rick Donald's the same, lit up like goddamn Christmas when those things were shown this morning. People lost their shit over that Ash figure. And
I mean, you know, for me, you know, super nostalgic. You know, I was able to watch Pokemon at an even younger age than Red.
You think I was in middle school?
I watched far into Pokemon. Obviously now as an adult, I watch American Pokemon anime, and it makes me want to like shoot myself. But I could stand the Japanese one still, no problem. The tone of how the characters are, and you know what goes on in the show, you know, is written differently for the Japanese, so I don't mind that. But watching the American one, I can't do it.
The other difference also for me, as a full disclosure, is I'm actually a very big fan of the manga version, the Pokemon Adventures or Pokemon Special. I like that approach where every generation has a new MC. I don't care for. Again, it's a kid. And I'm sorry if I'm insulting any of the fans of it who are in our audience. It is done as a kid show. It's, you know, the main character never ages, even though he's technically been through this stuff. It's done as a kid show to keep it accessible. As an adult, that doesn't appeal to me at all. I prefer, for my straight fiction, I get that from the manga version, and then my actual overall enjoyment is mostly the game version, which are both very full and satisfying iterations. Anything else to say there, Rick? Sorry if I cut you off a little. Rick, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had a call for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What did you just say before I came back? Oh, don't worry.
Oh no, I was just mentioning that I prefer the comic version over the TV version. That's pretty sure I was justifying. You're still muted.
You can't hear me?
Now I can.
Oh, okay. I love the video game looks of the characters. You know, I spend so much time and try to bring myself so much patience these characters in the game and trying to get all these Pokemon and stuff like that. I feel much more connected to them when they're in the game. At this point, everything from the anime is just nostalgia. And I'm definitely gonna buy every single figure they make without hesitation, no question. I'm buying them all. And like Red said, a lot of people woke up this morning, they saw those Pokemon figures and they lost their minds.
Yeah, it was. I consider the initial big news out of this show was the Nappa, the Dragon Ball figures. But I think once those Pokemon figures were shown, that took the spotlight.
Yeah, no question. I mean, bias aside, the biggest news, the thing that I see all over my wall, every group talking about, no matter what type of toy group it is, they're talking about those Pokemon figures.
So yeah, really huge deal. I mean, I wish they could resolve. I wouldn't call it an issue, but the fact that they can't release those figures in America is very sad. I mean, I'm sure GameStop would, give their, slash their wrist, give their right eye to have, Ash Ketchum figures on the shelf at GameStop. They'd sell great.
Oh yeah, would do incredibly well.
Yeah, I don't know if there's even a chance of that. I know from conversations we've had with Bandai people that the Pokemon situation is complicated, mainly because there's so many hands involved. You have the people who have the toy rights. You've got Game Freak, the Pokemon company. You've got Nintendo, and you've got whoever's making the figure. So a lot of these Japanese figures, a lot of the issue with the U.S. release is just those complications. That's just based on conversations we've had with people. This seems like a wonderful opportunity to try to overcome them, to make these figures available to the American public. I'm sure Amazon, Barnes & Noble, everyone would love a chance to have these figures. But worst case, have your EMIYA accounts ready to go. It also looks like Amazon Japan's been pushing themselves on Facebook lately. Many, many venues are perfectly happy to take moderate amounts of your money to provide you with these. There'll be no issue getting to America.
Yep.
All right. I think that's all I've got to say on the subject. How about you, Mr. Rick the Doms?
Same here. Same here. Great reveals. Everybody's going crazy for them. I'm buying every single thing.
Again, I will read it. Especially the Ash looks incredible. I mean, proportionate wise, it's a stretcher. It looks better than the Metacom. The Metacom had more human proportions. This one looks just like the show. Yeah.
It looks like the screen. It looks like the character popped out of the screen.
Yep. I talked with another friend, a mutual friend of ours this morning about it. I consider he'll definitely come with a Pokedex, I'm sure. We discussed the hat being backwards. Maybe it'll be able to rotate. I think the better thing would be for just to have a separate head with the hat on backwards and just the serious expression. I choose you expression on his face.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll just have a second head with the I choose you expression. I think a Pokedex is a guarantee. Our friend mentioned having his backpack. That one, that'd be nice. It'd be nice if he had it. Not a deal breaker if he doesn't, but it'd be nice if he had his backpack.
Definitely.
List of things to make him perfect. As for future releases, if they continue with the season 1, I mean, people love Misty and Brock. They would be the logical next two in the set.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can't wait to see what comes from this line.
Maybe the next logical ones. I mean, if we want to start talking about this line doing wildly successful and then going crazy, obviously Officer Jenny's and Nurse Joy's, because you can troop build them. It's a weird thing to say about a human being, but yeah, you can troop build those too. So that would be good choices to do. But I would, if I had a gun to my head and asked to make a future prediction, I would probably say Misty and Brock would be your next ones up.
And a close third would be Gary.
Gary too. Yes, you're right. Actually, that's another one our mutual friend was discussing with me. Is Gary is another one. The Gary Oak. Gary would also, I guess, I put him. If say my top 3 picks would be those guys.
Yeah.
I guess Gary would probably come with his Eevee. That's I think his most definitive one.
All right, moving on. Let's see, where are we at now? looking and seeing. A lot of other news is starting to pop up right now, mostly regarding the Western licenses like Star Wars and Marvel. But we'll get to that. Another interesting thing is the Figure Art Zero Gudetama and also the Sanrio stuff. You see Gudetama right here. And they're also doing the Twin Stars of Sanrio. So I guess you're a Hello Kitty fan. Not only just Hello Kitty, but it doesn't look like there's any pictures of Hello Kitty or My Melody. Okay, well, they'll probably pop up eventually. This is stuff we've already seen with the Batman and Joker, the Nolan versions. They look pretty good. There's a Ryu prototype, which is being shown. This was actually first shown at New York Comic Con, although this version looks more Street Fighter V than the one that was at New York Comic Con. I wonder if some adjustments have been made. It looks more like Street Fighter V than the one that was shown. The one that was shown at New York Comic Con was more generic. There's also Chun-Li. Chun-Li doesn't look like she's changed much at all. She looks essentially more or less the same as she appeared at New York Comic Con. Very anime-looking Chun-Li, not particularly like a Street Fighter V version, but maybe there's some changes. Maybe this seem like a little bit darker than the one that was. I don't remember. It's been a while, and things are like. But we got a new reveal. Once again, proving that the line is essentially a Street Fighter V figure line. We're getting Rashid, who is the third figure. Very exciting because this is the first figure Rashid ever, and yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, we have Ryu, Chun-Li, and Rashid. It's a strategic property in the States, so these are all going to come out here. You can either wait for get these or wait for Storm. Well, get Storm collectibles or wait for these. These ones are a little bit smaller than the Storm collectibles ones, but they look really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, look nice. Like I said, there's no shortage of Street Fighter figures out there, but they look very nice. Especially the Rashid is nice. I don't recall seeing anyone else doing a posable version of him, and he looks really great. So a nice move on their part to go with a more obscure, newer character.
Yeah, Rashid has been building up a good fan base, so very cool that they're doing them. We're also getting figures from the new Tiger Mask series, Tiger Mask Double. We're getting Tiger Mask and Tiger the Dark, the two main characters of the series. Look really great. This could potentially be your classic Tiger Mask as well, so it works both ways. But it is based on the new anime. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's definitely you guys like that old style, Showa, anime. Then this is something that'll definitely be right up your alley. What do you guys think of the Street Fighter figures and the Tiger Mask Double figures?
I like the update on Ryu. Having Rashid is really cool. It was something that yeah, he's gaining popularity, but I really did not think he was going to be coming that soon. So that's a nice surprise. Tiger Mask is awesome. I have great respect for the character that is Tiger Mask. And then there's Dark too. Having both of them, out at the same time is very awesome. His rival. Very cool.
Yeah, the Tiger Mask look very nice. You get that classic look to it. Nothing I've watched. I know the character. It's one of the more homage characters. Heck, one of the new Pokemon is partially homage to him. One of the new starters, the new cat wrestler. I kind of blurred my 2 cents on the Street Fighter a moment ago. The Ryu update looks nice. Chun-Li looks good. Rashid looks actually really, really nice. And yes, it's with the gluttony of Street Fighter figures out there, I think they're making a smart choice and trying to diversify it with some of the new characters. So there you go.
All right. Moving on to the next stage. Definitely, you guys are curious about these characters. Definitely check them out.
Speaking of wrestlers.
Wrestling? What?
We have this guy's name's Triple H, right? Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H with the sledgehammer. Very cool.
Vince McMahon. And Undertaker. Vince McMahon and Undertaker being reveals for the event.
Mm-hmm.
They seem like they look pretty good. Good likenesses. Although I'm not a fan, I'm not really qualified to really say. But
The likenesses are pretty cool. I think the selection of eras is very strange. Like, I wish I knew the reasoning behind everything because, like, I sold this to EMIYA last night. Just, you know, my personal opinion. I just think the era mix doesn't make any sense. That Vince McMahon is like that Vince McMahon would go with like that Triple H and that Stone Cold, but it kind of doesn't go with The Rock. It kind of goes with that Undertaker. That Undertaker is more of a modern one. It's not a like, you know, like your classic demon looking Undertaker. They're all very awesome. I'm happy that we're getting them. I'm glad that they went this route. You know, we kind of had like a little mini scare where they seemed to be announcing a terrible figure to come out that thankfully was not chosen, and we got these two instead. I know a lot of people are really excited for that Vince McMahon. And that Undertaker is not most people's favorite look. Anytime the Undertaker has those like MMA gloves, you know, it's very modern and not people's favorite look. But it's an iconic character, and it's definitely someone that you would want to make in the beginning. You know, your Undertakers, you know, your Hulk Hogan's, your stuff like that. You know, very cool.
all right. And it looks like that finishes it for this page. Some Star Wars news rolling in. I found it on the Twitch, not the Twitch, the fucking Fuchsia of all places. Someone took a picture. You guys can't.
What do we see?
Thing, but you could see that there's Finn and there's Finn Stormtrooper right there. We already knew the Han Solo was coming, though. But there's Episode 7-1. This we already knew was.
I know it's Finn because the glares cancel everything up in his head.
Yeah. And then there's Rey and BB-8 as well, as you guys can see right there. Although the Rey looks like it's the final version of Rey.
Yeah, it looks like final version from here.
It doesn't look like it's the actual
double version.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. The other pictures that sneaked out are the you know, the movie realization Darth Maul and Captain America. So
I don't know how I feel right now.
I mean, we were actually back in New York, wasn't SDCC? We actually spoke with the staff about Captain America, and they already had one apparently sketched up, and I guess this is what they were talking about. So yeah, so we're getting it.
What does it say that Captain America is pretty much like an Oni?
I don't know.
What does that say about Japan's thought about America? That this guy's shamelessly American, make him fucking White Devil.
Besides that, there isn't really anything else. Oh, there is this picture of Anakin that popped up as well. Looks really, really good. Looks like he's gonna be a Tamashii Web Shop exclusive, I believe. Yeah, Tamashii Web Shop exclusive.
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning behind that. That's strange.
So this is Anakin, you know, the he's holding me back, you know, version.
I was gonna say some of the exclusive version coming with some sand, but that's just
that's the I just killed all those bastards that messed with my mother.
I killed them, including the women and children.
They're all dead.
Oh, Anakin, I'm so hot for you right now.
You killed a whole race of people. You sweet, sweet man.
It's no fault for living in sand.
You beautiful genocidal bastard.
Right. Moving on, we have the Dynamic Classic stuff. We're getting a Kurogane finished version of Grandizer, which we already got one for Mazinger and Great Mazinger. Sadly, Kurogane finished Grandizer is going to be a Tamashii Web Shop exclusive, which will be more expensive. But it's awesome that they're doing it. I'll consider these Kurogane finished versions are the definitive versions of these.
Good.
And this Grandizer, I need to have it, so it's definitely a must buy. We've seen Devilman already went up for order. This is a reveal, the Getter 1 Dynamic Classics. This is basically the new version of the SLC. It has the more slim anime proportions, which is how the Mazinger was pretty much done. So, as you guys can see, the Mazinger. More slim. And, you know, of course, you know, we're getting Mazinger, you're getting Great Mazinger as well. So they're actually selling right now GX02R special version, and that's kind of like a goodbye to that mode, and they're going to move on to this mode pretty much. This is going to be the new version of Great Mazinger SLC for the next 10 years or so. So we're also getting another surprise, Ankoku Daishogun SLC as well, which is really awesome that they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
So
the Italians will be happy.
That's a very cool that they're doing it. I'm assuming it's going to be an SLC, but it doesn't really say. Just part of the Dynamic Classics line. There's also no indication of what it is. If you look at XXX for the you know, description, so we don't even know what line he's going to be part of. We don't know if he's Chogogen or whatever. So I'm guessing there's going to be some diecast on there though. It looks like it's going to be so. And yeah, that's pretty much follows all the Dynamic Classic stuff. What do you guys think of the Dynamic Classic stuff?
Like I said, I see Italy very, very happy with Ankoku Daishogun. You know, they love them some Great Mazinger. It's a nice piece. I'm pretty sure all the announcements there are very nice pieces. You know, I'm already in for the Devilman and Mazinger. You know, DCs. I'm not so much a Getter fan. I might get the Getter just because it is iconic mech. I might grab that one. So yeah, but Bandai always looking to redefine their essential characters. So you know, another good excuse. Vic?
Me and EMIYA talked about this line like ad nauseum in the last one that we did. It's very cool, very, very cool pieces. That Devilman is just such an incredible looking figure to me.
All right, moving on. I have Ayakos on the screen because we couldn't show him earlier. You guys can see Ayakos there. He looks really awesome. There's the EX version. And there's like some pictures are leaking that we didn't actually get to cover. There's Camus. We didn't get to see him earlier either. Now finally we're looking at him. Looks really nice, as you would expect from the EX line. And they're all great.
Looking sexy as always.
Trying to see what else. We will get into some of this other stuff afterwards. Oh, okay, let's go to Dragon Ball. Whereas the Super Saiyan 3 is a completely new mold for Son Goku. Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. A lot of people, we've all been more or less predicting that it was going to be a recolor before they actually double dip it. But I guess they said, hey, you know what, screw it. Let's just, you know, put out the new mold now. This is the new Goku body, the new standard Goku body. It looks like it's going to be offered as Super Saiyan 3 as the very first way you'll be able to get it, at least just based on reveals. This body has the updated articulation, the updated everything of what the current figures coming out in the second generation of Dragon Ball SHF. Yeah, I'm not sure. Everyone's been asking me if he comes with those like energy parts that the first one comes with. I don't know. And I'm, you know,
I hope not. Those energy parts suck.
So
you suck.
So
damn right I do.
It's a new mode, and it looks great. And every Goku figure, I mean, at this point, as the reveal of this is pretty much completely outdated. That doesn't have this body. So, what do you guys think of the 100% newly tooled Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku?
Let me tell you this, EMIYA. All right. If I've said it once, I've said it. I'll say it again. You know what I mean? This figure is fantastic. I can see an insane amount of head swaps in this figure's future. But what I hope I don't see in this figure's future are those terrible effects that come with the first Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because those effects suck. So, am I being mean? Am I being disrespectful? Sure. But, you know, those effects suck. So, they deserve it.
Figure looks nice. I'll be curious to see it in action. Like that, I guess it's an ab joint, has me interested to see how that works out. That kind of cut there on his belly. Colors, at least in this shot, the colors actually look particularly vibrant, which is really nice.
Yeah, the colors are very nice on this figure.
Yeah, very, very vibrant. Like, look at like the contrast on the boots, you know, the orange on the pants. Looks very nice. As for FX parts, I mean, the more the better. I mean, there's plenty of effects parts out there now. If you wanted to do different ones, you wanted to, I don't know, give him orange version of the lightning effects parts to have around him. I don't know. Or just give him a new Kamehameha. There you go.
Right, like I said, it's a completely new mode. We're not sure of the details yet. We're not even sure how everything's going to work out for it. But it's a reveal, so it's very cool. Something we kind of touched upon earlier, but we didn't really get to go into details because we didn't have the pictures in front of us. But this whole new gallery actually has all these pictures. We have a new picture, nice big picture of Gara. You can see a lot more detail in this picture actually. Before we move on, looks really good. And we also have soccer. I think this was the soccer picture we looked at before. So it looks good. So you have these lighted effects right here. They're LED, these LED effects. Obviously, they're not LED effects here because you can see the damn LED modules at the back of at the bottom of the base right here. They're obviously putting them out to more or less test the interest.
For those of you who are not aware, I would like to point out what they are. Those are the LEDs that you use to for Gundams. Those are the official Bandai LEDs that you use to give light up eyes to master grade Gundam kits. That is exactly what they are.
So they have these LED modules there. You can see them in the background. It's
very clearly see them.
It's something where, to be honest, you could do this at home right now. This is what they're doing at home.
I got those things.
You can actually do this right now. It's actually not difficult. This is actually without the lighted effect. Looks pretty cool. The picture of
that looks really nice. That actually looks really nice.
So this is obviously painted by someone there because it looks like
a photographer,
custom. So, anyways, they're not just doing the auras; they're also doing the Kamehameha effects as well. And these also have LEDs in them. Looks like there's two LEDs, one at the impact and one at the blast.
Correct me if I'm wrong, EMIYA. Are those the blasts that come with the model kit? 'Cause it looks like they split in the middle.
Oh no, they're not. They're not the same.
Okay, I saw the seam and I thought, okay, well maybe it's just the model kit ones with an LED shoved in it.
I don't think anyone comes with these. I think these are entirely new. They're actually a little bit too small in my opinion, but that's just me.
You're gonna have that no matter what you do.
Yeah. So I mean, here's how the Vegeta with someone shooting the flash on it, so you don't get to see the light being as strong. But yeah, I mean, you could technically do this at home right now. I assume the final product is going to have the LED built in. That's what I'm guessing. That's what they're trying to gauge the interest for. And it looks cool. It's obviously a cool effect, but as we have been saying, you can technically do this at home right now if you have those LED units. Granted, they're not cheap, but you can technically do it. You don't even need to use those. You can probably just go out in the store and buy yourself LED units and do the same exact thing. So yeah, it's not too difficult to do. These ones look like they actually have the LEDs built in. You can see wires right here put into there. You can see the wires coming in, obviously for the LEDs. So these are obviously have the LEDs built in, but these auras they're just doing the lazy and having the LED in the back. So Rick Dom has stepped out temporarily, so we're probably, depending on when he comes back, I'm not sure we're able to get his thoughts on that, but hopefully we can. Let's see if there's anything we missed here. Oh, Genma Salotome. Doesn't look like the prototype has changed at all. Looks like he's probably going to end up being a Figure Art Zero, I assume.
Not a joint on them.
No joints on them at all. But a very fan favorite, Ryoga Hibiki has been shown as well. A lot of fans have been waiting for this character to appear in the line, and here he is. He's a natural character that you would do for if the line continues, obviously. So
you know what, EMIYA?
What's up?
They should have put him in the wrong display and say he got lost.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, this guy has like a epically bad sense of direction, so he gets lost very easily. It's kind of like the character's gimmick, his little quirk. So
he walks into a room and can't find the door.
Yeah, He's that type of character. He's actually like the main character, Ranma's rival. They have many fights throughout the series, so you could definitely now have them fight each other. So, Ranma, from what I believe, which I confirmed with the with our contact Adam and Julian, that they are. I believe that Ranma is a strategic property in the United States, because Akane, you can order her, you get her like pretty much for retail price here. So if Ryoga and Genma end up being exclusives, you should be able to get them in the US without much problems. Okay. What do you think of the figures, Red, of Ryoga?
I think the Ryoma is actually quite nice. It's always into the secondary characters. It actually kind of makes you want to. I do have some affinity for Ranma. I read the comic years ago. Seeing a character like that getting made, it's like, you know what, I actually wouldn't mind buying some of the figures. I know they're doing them all. You know, Ryoma, he's a fun comedic character. I do enjoy him. As a fellow lost ass dude, I can totally relate. So, yeah, he's a solid maybe on there. And the dad, I could wish he had articulation, just because I think he's quick for joke pictures. I understand that it would be expensive to engineer. You know, we're talking like a Nappa here pretty much. So I don't disagree with the decision. It's just unfortunate.
How about you, Rick? What do you think of Ryoga and Genma?
I think the Ryoga was cool. I know a lot of people were crazy when they heard the Ryoga announcement. I mean, I grew up with it for a portion of my childhood because it's really big in Latin America, and it was big as well here when I was a kid. And Ryoga's awesome. I do wish, that was articulated, but oh well. Like Brian said, how can you justify a one-time use panda?
Only if they actually announced the Tekken license.
Yeah, but the Ryoga is really cool. I really like the look of it's more so that I'm surprised that a sample looks so nice. The yellow comes off really good. It doesn't look all strangely gloppy, and the backpack looks pretty cool.
But you already tell this one's gonna fall apart. You see that joint right there in his knee?
Oh yeah, and the knee.
That shit has obviously been glued on a couple of times.
Oh god, yes.
And you can see the other joint right there. On his right there, you guys see it? That white thing. That's obviously, yeah. So obviously, this thing is not a working prototype.
Refresh my memory. Does it? Akane comes with Pichon, right?
Yeah, Akane comes with Pichon,
which is his alternate form. So it's interesting that he doesn't come with himself.
I mean, Akane and Pichon, it's pretty definitive. So
yeah. I mean, if you're doing Akane, she needs to have Pichon. It's just noteworthy that he doesn't look like, at least in these pictures, that. Maybe he will eventually come with one with a different expression. A panic expression. Who knows? We'll see. Tiger mask.
All right. We never got your thoughts on these LED effects, Rick Dom. Please share with us. We basically made the discovery while we were looking at these that these are basically the Gundam LEDs right here. So basically, you can do this at home if you want. This is not hard to do. This is very easy to do. And like I said before, these effects are new effects, but you could see the wire right here. So they're wired, and it's obviously whatever they end up releasing from this, it's obviously going to have the LEDs built in. But obviously, these were just kind of put out there to gauge interest. What do you think of the LED auras and LED blast effects?
I like the blast. I think the auras are. I've never been a fan of the auras personally.
We never got your thoughts on these LED effects, Rick Dom. Please share with us. We basically made the discovery while we were looking at these that these are basically the Gundam LEDs right here. So basically, you can do this at home if you want. This is not hard to do. This is very easy to do. And like I said before, these effects are new effects, but you could see the wire right here. So they're wired, and it's obviously whatever they end up releasing from this, it's obviously going to have the LEDs built in. But obviously, these were just kind of put out there to gauge interest. What do you think of the LED auras and LED blast effects?
I like the blast. I think the auras are. I've never been a fan of the auras personally. If I was just me personally, I mean, I think the blasts are okay, But if it was me personally, and I knew how to use Photoshop, I would just do the auras with Photoshop. I think it'd look a lot better. It's cool, but not for me.
All right. Now we got his thoughts. You can move on to see what else was missed in the other gallery. There's this Tuxedo Common Sailor Moon figure on top of that. It looks to be like a music box or something. I don't know. Looks pretty cool though. Don't know what it is. All right, there's all the Macross stuff that we missed. All right. They are doing a high metal art of the VF2SS, which is the main Valkyrie from Macross 2, Lovers Again. There's not many toys of this. Another company called Evolution Toy actually did a 1/60 scale of it. Not as nice as this, oddly enough, because I don't know how they work, but this is pretty cool that they're doing it, and obviously we'll get other variations of the VF2SS. A friend asked me about other mecha in the series, which I replied that as long as these do well, then we can hope that we get more. I've always liked the design of the VF2SS. Looking at it here, I still do like the design. Looking at it, I haven't played with the 1/60 scale one. I'm just very curious how that one actually transforms. Looking at it here, this is actually a crazy transformation. I mean, even here you can see it. There's these gigantic hinges right here. I don't know if they're going to be on the final version, but yeah. I mean, just how the cockpit goes in. I mean, I'm not sure how it all transforms, but maybe this. As you guys know, High Metal R line is not a transformable line. It's a parts forming line. So I can definitely see a parts forming. You can get this kind of result. But I would like to see the other toy, the 1/60 scale one, to see how they pull off the transformation, if anything. What do you guys think of the VF2SS from Macross 2, High Metal R?
That's a Macross.
It looks really nice. I mean, I know Macross 2, the redhead stepchild of that family. It looks like a nice design, actually. I don't even know why they don't do more stuff just on the design. It looks like a very nice, sleek, sexy little design. I have no interest in it, but hey, go obscurity.
Well, you were dumb.
Macross, that's what it is, man. I know it.
All right, moving on. We're also getting these Tomahawks and Destroyers for the High Metal R line, which they've already been teasing us for a while. Look very cool. Fans have been wanting them. Great for army building. Good to go with your Destroyed Monster. And your Destroyed Monster, which has already been released. I mean, it's already out, so you can have a little squadron. You don't need to buy multiple. You just buy one of each and just have it exactly like this. Why not? So, no pressure. And we already looked at this. We're also getting Regaults with new equipment, because you can never have too many Regaults. So these are the space-type Regaults, where they have the different weapons on the top. I'm assuming you're just going to release one that has, you can either have this on or have that on it. So, this is pretty much from the war when they were fighting in space. So, definitely looking forward to getting several of each of those. What do you guys think of the Regaults and these artillery units?
Looks really good. Proportionately really nice. Not overly impressive gimmicks, but they look good. Everything that opens open. Nice, vibrant colors. Always nice when they do the more obscure things. I'm always a fan of doing the more obscure designs, especially for the mecha series, to kind of fill out your armies. So yeah.
Let me tell you this. When I look at these figures, I think to myself, these are Regault units.
I don't think you think that at all.
That's just what I want you to think.
Very clever. Well, maybe now I will think you think that.
Then my work is done.
Silence. Maybe it's like, shut up, you two. Let's get going.
All right. We also are getting the VF1EX from Macross Delta. I won't go into too much, but we're getting those as well. They're easier, just VF1, so easy to do. But this is actually a kind of cool scene in the series. And I won't spoil it for anyone who actually wants to watch it. So, but it's cool that we're getting him. All right. What do you guys think of the VF1 EX? From Delta.
Looks good. I don't know the scene, but got some Maximilia going on there. I'm always okay with that.
Figures, you think the color's red and you think the color's blue, so it's always good there, you know.
One day he's gonna stop asking us these things.
Let's move on. Let's see if there's anything else we didn't see in the other gallery. I think we're pretty much almost done, though. I don't think there's much left. There is stuff left, but there's not a ton of stuff left. Now you can see, you know, these guys are about to face off right there. Well, maybe they're not facing
it's rivals.
They're just posing for the picture.
The sunshine.
Tiger the Dark.
Kind of want to hold up sunshine on a cloudy day and, you know, put them over a calendar, turn to the month of May.
All right, this is done. This is, we'll just leave that up for now. This is pretty much done. More pictures of, you know, other stuff. More, another alternate pictures of second and third, first and second form. Pick Hopper and Punch Hopper again. Which one's this one, Brian? Is a movie one? It's a movie one, right? So.
Yeah, I don't recognize either. That's a new version of Mach, and that looks like it's a fusion of Trideron with Hart, his main rivals. That never happened in the series, so
Right.
I mean, I'm watching the movies unless there's a new like special or something. Oh, I haven't seen the Chase special yet, so that could be it.
Okay. So we have the Honko Takeshi, Kamen Rider #1. We're in better picture of it. As he uses the digital scan, the digital printing. We've seen these all already. And these, I guess, are the X-Aid figures. It looks like, you know, different forms of X-Aid. I haven't only watched one episode, so just to see what it was like. They're just different. Looks like different forms. Different. And there's like a knight-looking one as well. So, okay.
Yeah.
And
there's some GT Transformers.
All of these, pretty much. We're just kind of going through it. A really nice picture of Rashid. Better picture of Ryu. Like I said, definitely it looks different. I remember the one at New York Comic Con was much more white as well than this one. So let's see. There's Rick Dom's favorite figure at the event. Huh? What do you think, Rick Dom? Your favorite figure at the event?
No, but I'd still think that my favorite figures were probably the Pokemon ones.
Not what you mean? Not this? You know, not this.
Cool, Undertaker. I'm definitely gonna buy it.
Oh, okay. How about this one? This
I
one.
think it's a gut.
I'm gonna buy a lot of Vince McMahon's.
Yeah, these are all stuff we've already seen. I think we pretty much covered most of the event at this point. There is one thing we haven't covered yet, but we'll get to that in a second. You guys can see Ayakos and Camus, which we didn't see earlier, which I've shown earlier, but now I'm showing them again, I guess, whatever. This is already this is a special event exclusive, Dark Kabuto, Shinko Choseiho version. You know, event exclusive. Will probably be available online at some point. Same with this one. Captain. Phase 1 Captain. And these fucking things, these Darumas. So, yeah. I think we've looked at all this stuff already. Okay, this is what I didn't point out before. This is actually Metal Robot Damashi 00. This is not a metal build. So my mistake for that. Also, they're teasing right here. You can see Strike Freedom Metal Robot Damashi back here. You can see it. There's other ones in the background too. It's not just those guys. So you guys can see. So some cool ones. So more metal robot Damashi being shown in addition to the Knight Gundam. It looks like they're doing Exi as well. This is all metal robot Damashi. So they're really, really going high gear in this line. So, and these are just going to be regular, I assume. So, but yeah, these are teasers right here. You guys can see Strike Freedom.
No, that black screen.
Strike Freedom. It's right there.
The Jesus says.
Yeah. So, you guys are thinking about, you know, hey man, when are they going to reissue Strike Freedom Robot Damashi? You know, they're probably not. They're just going to do this. So, this is the next step. It looks pretty good. So, that's one of the things we didn't get to cover while I was going through. I noticed that. Forgot the name of this guy, but he's one of the big boss in the Dunbine series. Then he fights Servine, which is right here.
It's Red Wing.
That's suitably impressive.
Yeah, it's very cool looking. We'll probably get the figure of it. It'll probably be a Tamaki Web exclusive. And it's the AUG. You know, looks cool.
You did that one already.
Yeah, I'm just pointing it out because I like it. So. Awesome.
The two of us shirts I didn't talk about it, so he's got to make up for it.
Yeah. And there's Daizujin combined, which was shown at New York Comic Con, but you know, they have it on display here. You can see all the Zoo Rangers on display too, right here, right next to it. So for the fans. And I think we have pretty much covered pretty much everything. Let's see if any news popped up. There's some nice shots of Knight Gundam right here. Looks really cool. And that's pretty much most of the stuff. I mean, the stuff that I'm sure a lot of you want to see, unfortunately, looks like we can't actually take any. No one can take any pictures of it. Oh, this is what we need to cover right here. They're really going. They're really kicking into gear for the Ultraman manga line for SH Figure Arts. They're doing like all these guys now. Look, so we've already got some of these guys already, Ultraman, and we're getting some of the villains now too, and we're getting the timeout mode for Ultraman as well, and Ace, and all those. It's pretty cool.
Where's the anime for this series? What's the deal?
I don't know what should become. Looks like this guy's going to be a Figure Arts Zero from looking at the picture right here, but who knows? Maybe they haven't added articulation yet, so it's possible. It's very cool. They're going all out in this line. It seems like they're really pushing it forward. But all Tamashii Web Shop exclusive, unfortunately. So you guys are going to have to pay the retail price plus fees or whatever, unless you guys want to risk getting it secondary market. More shots of, you know, their blasting effects.
Mission of Light.
Guys. Cycling 3, Son Goku again, Gotenks Ghost, Xenoverse Hero, Tenshinhan, Yamcha, and then we go with the Kamen Rider stuff. Honko Takeshi definitely has the digital printing on the face, you can tell. Looks really good. Can't wait for that one. Another Sakura again. Yeah, those nice pictures. Nice to look at them because sometimes we don't actually get to, you know, experience them, you know, the same way when you're looking at just a crappy picture, you know, not looking at it, the nice big picture. Then it wouldn't say it's like replace that you own it, but, you know, it's, you know, whatever. Get a better feel for it. And these are all stuff we've all technically went through already. Yeah. So King Joe, Metron. That's all you know, for those Showa fans, you know. Kind of like a recap before we move on to the questions. If anyone has any questions, all two of you, feel free to ask. Or if not, we'll just go through the questions we have. And this is the Rick Dom's favorite reveals of the entire event right here. We're looking at right now. These Aikatsu, series.
Those good old purple hair, man. She's the best.
And Rick Dom's favorite Batman right here, and his favorite villain. So yeah.
Nobody's made a figure of that Joker yet, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I know it's a rare event. You just got to jump wherever you find.
Real relevance right there, man. I'll tell you that.
Big mention that Bluefin has announced that they are bringing over their first SH Figure Arts Marvel figure to the States. So they finally were able to, as we mentioned in the earlier show, that they needed to get the price to be at least like $80 or so in order to be able to bring it over here. That was kind of like the licensing restriction that they had. That I heard the figures they brought over had to be $80. And there's the renewal of Mark 6 coming out, and they're also going to include a Hall of Armor with it as well, and the retail price is $120 something or something like that. So something to be excited for our Marvel fans who have been hoping to see Bluefin bring over and distribute that in the US officially. So, and this is all stuff we've pretty much seen in Mirage again, because it's a nice looking figure. So one of the things I'm very sad about is we don't see maybe they're actually on display, but there's no pictures allowed to be taken, are the Valkyrie girls from Macross, from Delta, SH Figure Arts, and there are no pictures of them yet. So I'm wondering if they're at the show. I assume that they are. They're probably just in a restricted zone. So. Right, I think we have covered everything that's in these pages, but there might be some more stuff popping up in the next couple of days, and if you guys care, we can talk about that stuff too, but I'm sure there will be plenty of things going on with that. So, all right, let's just close these, see if there's anything revealed. Doesn't look like it so far. There's all the stuff we talked about. This is pretty cool right here. I don't think it's actually going to be for sale.
Yep. The pool.
Very cool.
That is cool. That is hella cool.
Yeah. Very, very cool display. But obviously, I don't think it's going to be for sale, so. Nice to see. It would be cool if there was a video that demonstrated it actually working, because obviously it works, so.
With the theme playing.
Yeah. It's very cool. I don't think there's anything here we didn't cover, so. All right. See if there's any news. Doesn't look like it. I think this is it for now. All right, so let's move on to questions. What kind of questions do we have this week? I don't think we have any from the audience, so let's just go through we have plenty of questions from the emails, so let's just talk about those questions. Rick Dom?
Hello.
Questions, man. What are the questions?
All right. I'm a big fan of RG Gundams. I love the very small but very detailed things. Do you guys like small and detailed things? I just think small stuff in general have better details. What do y'all think?
Well, that's actually not true. Actually, bigger things generally have more detail, but the RG series is one of those things that the gimmick is the fact that it is so small and has so much detail. It is very cool that they could put so much engineering into such a small thing. I'm a big fan of the RG line. I'm not exactly sure what the question is, but yeah, I think the RG line is cool, and small, very detailed things is also very cool. But yeah, that's all I have to say. How about you guys?
I agree.
I mean, having just built the RGC onto, it's a really nice piece. But again, as EMIYA said, the novelty of it is having that a decent amount of detail at that level. Even that it's not as detailed as your average MG or especially PG or whatever. And that's even with it being the novelty. So RGs it's a fun line. It's a fun line. It feels a great niche that it's a complicated piece. It looks really nice. It is fairly cheap. Not bashing it at all. So, hey man, whatever floats your boat, whatever, get your love of the gunpla out there, you go crazy.
And how about you, Rignum? You got anything to say about that? Small detail things.
Small detail. Who loves small things? That guy.
All right. I guess we can move on to the next question. What's the next question?
All right. The next question is Figuarts ever gonna do zombie versions of WWE figures?
What?
I can answer this very simply. Absolutely not ever. It's something that Mattel invented as a way to reuse figure molds from before. It's not going to happen. Do not expect it now, ever, in
That
any
guy
way.
who asked that question actually sent that question in 8 times. He really
No.
was.
It's never going to happen, sadly.
Now, is that I have never seen a single wrestling match in my life. Is that a thing that they do in wrestling on a Halloween?
That is absolutely not a thing. It is nothing, man. Mattel just made this small run of figures. It just came out this month. They're like zombie versions of characters, and they're just reusing basic figure molds with like a zombie head sculpt, and it's obviously molded in like zombie colored plastic for the skin and stuff like that. They're nothing. They're just a one-off random toy line. It's just. It's not a thing. I don't know why he's wondering this. And, no offense to the viewer, but no, absolutely not. Never. Don't expect it. Not going to happen.
All right. I guess hopefully that answered your question because you obviously really wanted to know. Okay, moving on to the next question.
Saw on Bluefin that they're coming out with the MK6 with the Hall. When is Cap, Hawkeye, and Black Widow coming?
Okay. Yes, the announcement we just talked about, the Bluefin bringing over a Mark 6. As for other characters, obviously they're going to be coming. They need to figure out a way to re-offer them with more accessories to bring the price up to $80. Because obviously, if it was just the figure for $80, your regular people probably won't want it. So that's probably what they're facing right now and trying to figure out what they would offer. When we spoke with one of the designers before, he mentioned the fact that maybe Black Widow with some effects parts and stuff like that, and maybe like a small diorama might get the price over $80. And they were thinking, and maybe do you think that would be something that you would want to get? But as of right now, that is the plan right now. I mean, Iron Man is easy because Iron Man figures are generally more expensive because they have die cast and they have they're essentially half action figure, half robot toy. So they generally can fetch a higher price, and you have now Hall of Armor options. So unfortunately for the other characters, you don't really have the Hall of Armor option. Of course, if the figure's already $60, let's say the figure's $60, then it's probably not too hard to jack the figure up another $20, which is at $80 is apparently the line they need to cross. So putting another $20, $25 worth of stuff in the figure is probably not that much more difficult, but we'll just have to see going forward.
Throw a few extra heads in there, a few hands, a bazooka, you're good to go.
And Rick Dom, what do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be a pain in the ass getting those up to that price.
in this case, it actually kind of sucks that I think figures are too complex for this. They can have it come with Build-A-Figure parts. Build an Ultron or some shit like that.
That would be funny. Yeah, like I said, I mean, getting another $20, $25, but at the same time, the thing is making it seem like to the consumer that it's worth that extra.
Yeah, you're up to straight.
$5 is the tough thing. I mean, right now, a lot of people are probably saying, "Hey, but you know, I see it on this website. Black Widow's $100." That's because she's a web shop exclusive and everything.
Yeah, that's not the MSRP.
But that's generally your core people. I mean, your general audience is not gonna go for $100 for that figure, like in a Barnes and Noble or something like that. So, hope I answered your question. Next question.
All right. The next question. All right. What stuff are you guys most excited about at the Tamashii event?
Start with you, Rick, now.
The WWE stuff is cool. The Pokemon stuff is great. The DBZ stuff was really cool. Yeah, happy about all of that.
What about Pokemon?
The Pokemon's. As for me, I mean, mainly I'd say offhand that absolute must buy for me is definitely that Gara figure, something that I've wanted for a while. I'm not a fan of the show. I acknowledge the Pokemon figures are a huge deal, so that was definitely very noteworthy. The Dragon Ball stuff's cool too. I usually buy those as well. So, yeah. All in all, this is a very solid, show. Lots of interesting reveals at this show. And over to you, Mr. the EMIYAs.
Yeah, I'd say so far, like, the coolest stuff is probably when the Macross stuff is good. There wasn't really much shown, though, at least from what we can see. The Dragon Ball stuff is always good. I mean, Dragon Ball stuff is always brings up the most discussion because, so many people collect that line. So it's cool that, we're getting, more so than the reveals. It's just the fact that, they're actually going to, do, new mode for Son Goku and stuff like that. It's good. I have no interest really in the Pokemon stuff, but again, I acknowledge that, it is a big deal for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, it seems like, while it's a big deal, it can't be sold here. So, at least officially, it has to be parallel imported. And yeah, I mean, the other stuff, all the stuff to see is pretty exciting as long as you're into the line. I collect a nice chunk of their lines, but if I had to choose one thing, probably the coolest thing on display, I don't know. I mean, last event, when they had that SDF1 and that, 135 scale VF1 jet, which I just easily say that, but this time there's nothing like that for me. The Naruto stuff is obviously very cool, but we only really get to see one new figure. One that a lot of us all really wanted for a while, but it would be cool if we seen more. But yeah, I think overall it's definitely been a good event. Yeah, so unfortunately I can't narrow it down like these guys can. So hope that answered your question. Next question.
All right. Next question. I see the 3-0 Guts and Real Action Heroes Guts, but you think Hot Toys is going to do one? Because I think Hot Toys is the best.
Unfortunately, I don't think Hot Toys has the capacity right now to do it. I mean, they wanted to do it, and they wanted to make it a point to do a Berserk. They get the Berserk. They can get it no problem. I just don't think that they actually want to do any of that stuff. So if you're not big if you're more into the Hot Toy style, I would say probably the 301 is probably the one to get. It definitely goes more in line with the Hot Toys way of doing things. But if you want a Hot Toys one, I'll just simply say don't hold your breath. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I mean, as someone who buys the 1/6 scale, I agree with EMIYA. I don't see Hot Toys ever doing Berserk. They've dabbled in the anime otaku stuff. They don't do it very heavily, and they've made it clear that they already consider themselves busier than they can handle. So, yeah, I'm sure they would do I'm sure they would do a good job. I just don't see it on their priority list at all. And I think the ones that we're getting are already really nice. You've got you've got a cool, cleaner version. You've got a nice, detailed, gritty version. So you've already kind of got, your two extremes to choose from for comparable prices. So just avail yourself of what's out there already.
How about you, Rick Dunn?
I don't see it happening. I would love it, but I don't see it. And for all the reasons that they've stated already.
All right, next question.
All right. When are the Akira figures coming out? I don't think we've heard of that ever happening.
Let's see, the thing is, you have to be very specific about what Akira figures. There are Akira figures, but if you're talking about, like, I'm guessing since you're messaging us, you're probably talking about stuff like SHF or Figma or things like that. I don't know really when that will ever happen. I could see, to be honest, I could totally see Bandai doing it. They've had the license before. I mean, they've done Akira stuff before. I could totally see them totally just reissuing that 1/12 scale bike and just have an actual SHF Kaneda, going with it instead of a fixed pose Kaneda. I could totally see them doing it because they obviously cater to that crowd who, that older crowd. But maybe you guys should go and mention it. Go and put it on. Go on Bluefin or Tamashi Twitter and just let them know that that's what you want to see. So that's my suggestion. How about you guys? What do you guys think?
I completely agree.
Yeah. Just Bandai says it all the time. If you have something you want, just yell at them about it. They get enough people yelling, they'll make it happen. So, I mean, there's nothing current with Akira right now. There's no anniversary or anything going on which would motivate them. So, maybe if enough people kind of pass to them about it, they might show some interest, or maybe, they'll wait for the next anniversary. But no, I don't think there's anything on the horizon. So, yeah. Sorry.
Next question.
All right. Although, I mean, there really should be figures, it's just nobody said anything, go bug them, go tell them that you want it. All right. You think we will ever see any Xenogears or Parasite Eve figures? Who'd make them?
If we ever get them, both those figures, they'll all be Play Art Sky. Parasite Eve, I could see happening if they do another game. Xenogears, very unlikely. I guess technically Xenogears, no, Xenogears still technically owned by Square. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately that those would be Play Art Sky. So you're expecting one. Well, granted, they are doing 6-inch now. So maybe in the future, if there's a revival of some sort. The problem with the Xeno series in general, Xenosaga, Xenogears, none of these games were ever really completed. I mean, the vision that the original creator had, the original creator left halfway before the thing was finished. So that's why we're kind of stuck in the situation we're in now with how it is. But Parasite Eve figures I could see happening. I could see them doing an EMIYA Play Arts Kai at some point, as long as there is an upcoming game. I don't think they'll do anyone else. They'll probably just do just her, just like how they do one Lara Croft for every Tomb Raider game they do. So it'll be something like that. So hope that answers your question. Next question.
All right. On to the next one. You think we're ever going to get any more Kill la Kill Figmas? I'd still like to get a Mako, Ryuko, and Satsuki in their non-god fibers.
I mean, I could see it happening at some point if the demand is there. I mean, again, like we always say, you know, you want to see it, just keep bugging them. The problem is, Kill la Kill's not one of those series that has a strong, a really, really strong, at least seemingly right now, it doesn't seem like it has like a really crazily strong, you know, afterburn. It's kind of cooled off a lot now, so the afterburn not being much there, they probably see it as a risk and don't really want to do anymore. But you know, people want that reissue Ryuko. This would be a great time to put some more stuff out there after reissuing her. So never say never. It could definitely be done, and it's definitely within the realm of possibility. It's not like one of those things where the figures are a flop or anything and they're never going to do anymore. I mean, I could saw it as Good Smile, Max Factor just being really conservative with Kill la Kill. They definitely could have done a lot more stuff, but they didn't. So maybe in the future it could still happen if, you know, fans like yourself, you know, make it vocal. So you guys have any thoughts?
Nope.
No, I'd agree.
So that Ryuko goes for a lot of money. Obviously, the demand is there. I mean, besides Shinon, she's the other one. She's the other figure that was going for a shit ton of money. And oh yeah, and 2.0 Saber. All two of them are now up for reissue. So Ryuko is probably coming soon. She's probably going to happen. So.
All right. Which third-party Devastator is the best? I see that new fans toys. Is that what FT stands for? Fans toys.
Fans toys. Yeah.
One is coming. You think I should go for the Toy World one? Is the Fans Toys one gonna be bigger?
We don't know anything about the Fans Toys one except that it's as big as that Omega Supreme that they're topping out, which, from looking at the picture, looks like it's probably going to be bigger than the Toy World one. I really just comes down to what you value in a Devastator. I mean, they're all pretty drastically different designs, all the third-party Devastators. So really just come down to which one you like the best in proportion to which one, what size you want. They're also all kind of different sizes, too. If you want one that's G1 accurate, I would say actually the Takara/Hasbro one is the most accurate looking one by far, as far as cartoon accurate. But if you want like a really stylized one, I mean, all those ones are pretty stylized. Really just depend on what you're looking for yourself. If you're looking for just big, then I would say probably wait out for the FT one, just because the FT one looks like it's probably going to be the biggest one. That's just what the nature of these third-party companies love doing. They love to one-up each other. So, you know, I was joking around the other day that, you know, maybe next thing you're going to do, the next Devastator is going to be a $200 per limb, per piece. $1,200 Devastator, but the 4 feet tall.
True scale.
You know, basically, he would be, yeah, true scale. The problem is, though, the freaking actual guys would be, like, bigger, so much bigger than all the other toys.
Each one is a leader class.
Oh, dude, they'd be bigger than leader class. Yeah, they'd probably be bigger than leader class.
Each one's a Titan.
You know, Titan class. Each one's a Titan class. And this thing would be like beyond Titan class. I mean, this thing would, like I said, it would be, because the biggest one right now, the Toy World one, is about 2 feet tall. I mean, like 2 feet tall, roughly. So yeah, 2 feet tall. Yeah, man, make it 4 feet, double the size. So. But yeah, if you're looking for size, I'd say, you know, Toy World or the FT. If you like style, then something like Green Giant or just Giant, depending on what color you want. Or Gravity Builder. I mean, Gravity Builder is nice too. So, you know, whatever you like, man, it's really what's it come down to. Do you guys have anything to add to this?
No.
You're the third party man, so I agree with you on this one wholeheartedly.
So, actually, before we continue with the questions, there's been a big announcement just made. This toy right here, Mechagodzilla, Tamashi Mix one, This is actually the Mecha Godzilla that's doesn't exist in the movie. This is strictly from the movie poster, but people fucking love the design of this Mecha Godzilla. And finally, it's happening.
It's
So
wonderfully awesome.
11?
It's wonderfully bizarre and awesome.
Yeah. So they're doing a figure of this version of Godzilla. So for fans who have been wanting a toy of this, a really nice toy, your prayers have been answered. You're doing this Godzilla. So,
It's a Mecha Godzilla with VTOL engines. This is awesome.
so,
And roller skates.
like I said, it's pretty much the Godzilla that the Mecha Godzilla that's from the cover, from the movie poster. But when they actually did the movie, it didn't end up looking like this. So that's basically what this Mecha Godzilla is. So because it is technically news. We have to, as it's coming in, man. News is still coming in. So this is what's going on right now. Anyways, move on to the next question. You guys have anything to share about this Godzilla? You guys have anything you guys want to say about this movie poster version of Godzilla before we move on?
Snarky.
Okay. Moving on. Next question.
We gonna get more Xenoverse figures besides Trunks and Hero?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, we a lot of Xenoverse. You have all those you have those crazy like what ifs. If they ever want to do what ifs, like shit like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and stuff like that, you could technically, those Bardock, Bardock Super Saiyan 3. You could technically do all of those technically. So, Xenoverse is like a big. I guess you could call it like a big. I don't know what's the word for that, guys.
What if, like you said?
No, not what if. Like basically unrestrained. An unrestrained card. Basically, they could play at any time to do whatever figure they want. I mean, you could do all those weird fusions too, like Trunks and Gohan and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely do those, all different types of stuff. So yeah, I would say it's safe to say there's going to be more. What do you guys think?
I consider it a guarantee. Yeah, like you said, there's so many what ifs out there that would be easy retools for Bandai. That, yeah, they're technically already doing a fairly difficult one with Trunks, who's an all new figure. So yeah, why wouldn't they do a Super Saiyan 3 Broly and other such wonderfully off the wall stuff like that?
How about you, Rick? Don, what do you think? You think it's going to happen?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah, there's going to be more.
All right. Hope that answered your question. What's the next question?
Do you all think we'll get more masterpieces, Transformers, past the ones that we got, like Headmasters and City Bots, maybe? Or even maybe more from just the movie?
I think
eventually, once they do all the cars and lots of other characters, once they get through all that, we'll probably start seeing. I mean, we already see some of them trickle in a little bit, but sadly, when it comes to Transformers, the focus is always those first 2 seasons. So, I mean, I could definitely see the next step. I mean, I don't think it will be necessarily the ones like Headmasters and stuff like that, but I could definitely see the next step as Masterpiece Combiners. I can definitely see that happening. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, as we know, some of the stuff that went into the Titans Devastator, they already had openly admitted that part of that was concept stuff for a Masterpiece Devastator, so we already know they've thought about it. I mean, the next logical thing is going to the Season 3/movie stuff. We have Hot Rod, I'm actually a fan of the Season 3 stuff way more than the Season 1 and 2. I'd be all over Cup, Blur, RC. I think those will come once they finish up with the cars. I think those will be the next logical step. As for the other stuff, like your Headmasters and such, I think we're just going to get that like the Star Saber, where we'll get them just much less frequently, just kind of random little whatever. They just feel like doing it. I think we'll get them super slowly and interspersingly, but yeah, we're going to finish up year 1 and 2 cars and such. Maybe get a few more Destrons. Fairly cleanly move into the year 3 stuff, and then Well, by that time, it's time to start redoing year one again.
How about you, Rick? Now, what do you think?
Yeah, just like what Red said, I think we'll see them. I just think it's going to be pretty scarce, and it's just going to be what it is. Come out sparingly, and but I think they will touch on stuff from those series.
All right. If you guys, we look like we got one question in the audience. Anyone in the audience that has a question, just start asking them. Anything you want to know that's Japanese toy related, or just hell at this point action figure related, doesn't matter. Just say it. Move on to the next question.
All right. You think Bandai is going to do Doctor Strange SHF?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean,
Possibly.
I think it would be cool for them to do.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? I mean, Rick, Red.
Seems very possible from the press reviews we already have right now out on Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 100%, so it's obviously being well received. And barring Japan hating it or something, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they. I mean, it's not an armored character. We know they on the whole like to do armored characters, but I mean, it says getting good reviews. I mean, if I had to throw something out there, I'd say 70% that they will, 30% that they won't. I put it that way. I'm actually, as EMIYA knows, I'm actually a pretty big Doctor Strange fan. I'm looking forward to the movie very much. I'm happy the initial buzz seems to be good. I'll, buying the hot toys. I'll probably even, I'm so hard up, I'll even probably buy Marvel Legends, God forbid. I do that once a year. So I'd love to get a SH figure art. I'd be very much in favor of it. Whether I think they're going to do it, very possibly. That's as strong as I'll say it. As someone who wants the figure, I'll say we are at very possibly.
Yeah, very possible. Very, very possible. More so than not possible.
More so than not, but not a resounding yes, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. We just got some breaking news, and Bandai just revealed that they're doing an Super Robot Chogokin Mazing Emperor. This is a awesome design that a lot of fans have wanted for years, and they're doing it in the Super Robot Chogokin series. So yeah, news still coming in, guys. It's still coming in.
So that's what it looks like. Great Mazinger. Is that some Great Mazinger upgrade?
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't wait until we're done with the show, because as soon as we're done with the show, we're going to get a huge wave of news.
So Mazing Emperor, to go with your Mazing Kaiser. So a lot of fans have been wanting Mazing Emperor for a while. So Mazing Emperor G. So yeah, very cool. It's a must buy, without a doubt.
Yeah. I don't even know what it is, but I'll buy it.
So it's one of those things that you just heard it, guys. He doesn't even know what it is, and he's still buying it. That's how good it is.
Well, it's never been a secret on the show that I'm a big Zinger fan. It's easily my favorite Super Robot series. So
all right. Next question. Now that we just got that out of the way.
All right. Emperors aside, what's up with Mega Man X True Force line, man? We getting any more or not? What's the deal?
I think we mentioned this on the show before, but apparently the guy who designed it has moved on. And apparently they wanted to get another guy to come and design it, but I think in respect to that designer, from what we understand, Capcom doesn't want them to hire another guy to do any designs. So apparently they're working some way around it. I don't know how they're going to work around it. Maybe they're just going to do another line, and it's just going to be kind of like the same style, but maybe not the same line, but you can put it together with that line. So that maybe that's what they're going to go for.
It's a damn shame, not getting a 0.
So yeah, unfortunately, that's just what's the state of it right now. I mean, it may change later. I mean, obviously, the figure did really well in the U.S. and the Kickstarter was very successful. So
yeah, and the exclusives seem pretty popular. So
yeah, people always seem to jump on it. I mean, I didn't buy one myself, but I know people were jumping on it at all the cons I went to. So it'd be money for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, one thing everybody always thought was that we would get a Zero just because it's such an easy retool. It's a
It was
shame.
in style.
Yeah, but I guess the problem is simply it's not hard for them to do. The problem just seems to be simply they just don't have the design to make a figure of. The guy didn't sketch anything, so it just seems to be that's the problem right now. Any more questions?
We have one more, I believe.
All right.
Last question. I remember Bondi was going to do Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear figures. They did that one Noel SHF, but are we getting any more? Haven't seen or heard anything in a while.
I wouldn't hold my breath. I think Noel must have done very mediocre, and well, I think people who generally like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear. I'm not trying to like single anyone out or anything. I just think those guys, just those type of fans, they just like statues more. The statues for like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue obviously do well. A lot of companies do them, but as far as action figures go, I just, you know, maybe if there was a really nice one, maybe people didn't feel that Noel looked very good. I don't know. There could be a lot of different factors. They have prototypes of like a lot of the characters, unarticulated prototypes, but Bandai does have a lot of prototypes, and you know, I mean, it could always be brought back up in the future, but as of right now, it's probably not happening. I mean, it's been years.
I mean, it's just another case of no offense to any viewers that did support, but it's just another case of fans talking big but not showing up when they need to.
Yeah, that's what we say, man.
Noel was shown, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! Finally, an articulated, you know, figure. Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna buy it." And Noel went on super dirt clearance,
and no one bought her.
No one bought her.
It's another case of what we say, like Rick Dom was saying, that if you're a fan of a franchise, even if you don't necessarily love the first character they do, if you can, just support it. If worst case, consider it'll be an accessory for the figure you want when it actually comes out. But if the first thing they do is a flop, then you're not getting the second figure. So
yeah, we've seen many times. I mean, there's been a lot of cases where there's a lot of prototypes, and then the first figure comes out and it just completely bombs, and they just don't. You just never see those prototypes again. So yeah,
it's sad to say that it can easily be gauged by what they show at these shows. You know, you can tell a figure does well when you go to the next show and there's like 3 more in the same line shown. That okay, well, obviously they're satisfied with how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely. Some other interesting things we just see. There is going to be a new Hades figure. Looks like EX version. And they're doing some special thing in Japan apparently. Right now, you guys can look at the Hades again because anyway, hold on, they're very long. You guys see Hades looks really good.
Nice.
Incredible. So they're doing Hades, and they're doing something in Japan right now. I don't know how the campaign works, but some kind of campaign. It's called the Saga. So you know, I'm assuming it's going to result in you getting the Pope Saga.
Which is traditionally a character that's distributed via events and, you know, mailaways and such like that.
Myth EX Saga. So it's the Saga project. They don't really give any much details here, but it's going to be fucking awesome for the Saint Seiya fans. So
You know, the case where you have to cut out the damn points on the side of the packaging.
there's no point on the packaging anymore. That's only on the original things. Only EXs have it. So I don't think it's going to be like that. It's probably going to be something that who knows. I mean, you can see there are different sagas on display. The Godcloth one, the original one, and they also have the Pope one. So only one missing, I guess, is the movie one. They got the movie one on there too, you know, just for hell of it. So and it looks like this is going to be pretty cool too. So. Yeah, the Barlog Lune looks really nice. It's gonna come. It also comes with that desk and that everything. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah. Anyways, we have one question on the side. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it, or no?
No, you go for it. You have it in your sights.
All right. Do you believe McFarlane someday will change the way to make figures, maybe more articulation?
It's been 20 years. No, it's been 20 fucking years.
The sad reality is that Todd McFarlane has ultimate control, and Todd McFarlane hates articulation, so I don't think so.
He is an artist. He has a preference, and also it's not to say that his preference is wrong. For a lot of people, both fans and casuals, they don't mind the lack of articulation for a nice-looking pseudo statue. I have no numbers on how the current, was it red top line is doing right now. I won't pretend to judge, but to say that no articulation is wrong is not correct, But as for a chance to change it again, his figures look like have the same articulation they did when he was the hot shit 15 years ago. I don't see him change anytime soon. He's a very stubborn artist. He's very much, I'll take my toys and go home if you all don't want to play nice. So do not hold your breath.
Yeah, I mean, it's been always kind of mentioned before. Todd McFarlane doesn't really care for articulation. I mean, he's very big on the artistic factor of the toy, which is the sculpting. And he's very much about preserving the sculpt. Like I've mentioned many times before on this show and on other shows, whenever this thing gets brought up, in order for him to do good action figures, he pretty much needs a guy who needs to come in and design his action figures for him. Because obviously, his preference is, when you design an action figure, you don't basically sculpt the statue and then decide, hey, you know what, I want to put joints in it now. That's not how it works, because then you won't, the articulation won't be symmetrical. You want symmetrical articulation if you do an articulated figure. At least in the current age, that's what you want, unless your figure is meant to be in specific poses. The problem with Todd's stuff has always been that's what he does. He sculpts a statue, a fixed pose figure, and then he just says, hey, let's put a joint here, a joint there, a joint here. That's how he does it. That's not how you're supposed to design action figures anyway. So, but again, when you see people explain that to him in interviews and stuff, it's like he doesn't even understand it really. I think for him, he just thinks, hey, this is like that, I want my figures to look good, and he wants his stuff the sculpt to be preserved. He obviously has a strong preference for something. And again, he's one of those guys, again, who has a strong belief that it's his company. He does whatever he wants. That's how he thinks. He's not necessarily a guy who necessarily, his whole career, he's never a guy who bows to the fans. He's a guy who he wants to make the trend, and people just have to like his stuff because it's awesome. That's how he thinks.
Yep.
And, that's not going to change. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I mean, maybe if somebody designs an action figure for him, it's a really nice one, and ends up doing really well, then, maybe he'll change his way. But he said in the past he's made articulated action figures. Figures are decently articulated. He said they didn't sell any better. So what's the point? I mean, you can always argue that, hey, he should, that doesn't count because that was a long time ago or whatever, but I don't think he looks at it that way. I think he would do some nice stuff if he did try to go that way. I think, and I still think he can do the statues. I think the fixed pose statues, I think there's a place for those in the market, and it's fine that he offers them. I don't think it's a bad thing that he has that stuff. But in this age, if you want to really make the waves, I mean, it's obvious that certain properties, especially when it comes to depending on the price point, especially when it comes to the low to mid-end product, those people are primarily about action figures. There's no doubt of that. There's no doubt of that at all. But as far as the fixed pose stuff, a lot of that really it's a lot about the high end. I mean, people like the high end stuff. And I mean that's okay. I mean that's cool. You know that I mean maybe mostly when we think of statues, guys like the more expensive stuff, and there's no issue with that. No problem with that. But again, the big issue with his stuff is he's at this place right now where his sales might suffer because the people the price that he sells his stuff, the people who buy that type of stuff are more into action figures. Now, if he was mostly just selling the code cast stuff that he does, like those ones with the spinning bases where you could spin the statue around so you can enjoy every single angle of it, which again is a very artist thing to do. That type of thing, those type of things would appeal to people who collect statues. And those are the things that do well for him. I mean, whatever. But don't get me wrong, there are people who do like the cheap statues, the stuff that he does. He does have a following for that. It's just that I think if he really wanted to really embrace the market as it is now, he should definitely go for the more action figure that is popular these days. Your SH figure, not your SH figure, but there's something on comparable to NECA or Marvel Legends or something like that. I think would definitely be better. But I wouldn't hold my breath because again, like Red said, it's been 20 years. More than 20 years, and he still hasn't done anything and doesn't seem like he cares to. He's a pioneer in the industry. I mean, no one can ever deny him that. He is a guy who pretty much created this collectible action figure industry. I mean, someone else probably would have done it, like I always said, someone else probably would have done it eventually, but he's the one who pioneered it, regardless of what people feel about, how people feel about him now. So,
yeah, let's also face it, depending on what you're buying, they're all alternatives, so you want to consider his own niche. I mean, if you're looking forward to his anime line, Attack on Titan and Naruto, well, there are plenty of posable figures for that already. If his are fixed pose, cheap PVC statues, then that's a perfectly valid niche. I mean, for some of his other stuff where there's less competition, I guess like Walking Dead and such, you can be a little fuzzier on. Not that his old figures were super articulated anyways, but in this day and age with so much competition, in a way, him being low-end on cheap statues it's actually a niche that maybe he'll benefit from. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it all comes down to. I don't, do I think it's impossible? I don't think it's impossible, but he'll have to swallow his pride to do it. I think that's how he sees it.
Yeah, and if it does happen, it's only going to happen when he's at the end of his rope.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be basically like one of those things where his company's about to go under kind of thing, or things are doing really bad. Don't get me wrong. Many people have said, and I'm positive, if he did very nicely articulated Spawn figures, people would go crazy. There's no doubt of that. People would go crazy. People would love they would love Spawn figures, like his Spawn characters, different versions of Spawn, but really articulated. Like, not necessarily really, but something on the level of something like
NECA.
Like NECA, like NECA, like DC collectible, something like that. I think that would do very well. But yeah, he doesn't seem like at least right now, doesn't seem like he has any interest in doing so. And I think the other stuff like Walking Dead and things like that, I think that stuff would do well too, as fully, really articulated figures. So some of the video game license, obviously, also. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. And obviously, he has competent sculptors. The sculptors are nice, so are good. I mean, the sculpts are good. So, hope that answers your question. We got some more news, actually. Two big things of news. We'll start with, I guess, the more important one for probably most of the guys here. But there are now pictures of SH Figure Arts Ray and Finn, Stormtrooper disguise version.
That Finn looks fantastic, man.
Look really good. Yeah, look really good. So this is
that neither of them are their default versions.
Neither are the default versions. In my opinion, the final design is better than the one that's the definitive design, but they're probably going to end up doing those designs as well. So I mean, you can always.
I agree. One thing that I don't understand is why she comes with BB-8. Isn't that version supposed to be with R2?
Not supposed to come with BB-8. It's supposed to come with R2, but we'll see what happens. Hard to see the detail of the likenesses and stuff like that here. The pictures are not particularly high res. So, but they look good. They look good.
Where's Poe?
So, and this is a Chinese website, according to Chinese website, it's a Chinese website.
They're over here sneaking pictures, so they're not the best of quality. That'll be very, very sneaky.
This is the Gao Gaigar Super Mini Claw. This is pretty much a $50 kit. Looks pretty good. It breaks apart, fully transformable. Gao Gaigar.
It's not painted?
This is just a model kit. This is just the rough. You could tell it's been printed. It's just the printed sample. You could see the rough texture on it because obviously just printed. So, but looks good.
Why does it say 850 yen? Why does it say 850 yen?
Oh, okay. I read it wrong. Actually, yeah, it's what it is it's a candy toy. So it's 4 pieces. It's 4 pieces at 850 yen each. So I guess the 4 pieces will be, these right here, and they're model kits, and they can, gatai and everything. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. If we don't have any more questions or anything, we will now close the show. I don't think there's anyone watching now anyway, so they'll just have to watch later, I guess. Our show will always go on so late. It's already like 2 a.m. The show's been going on for what, 5 hours?
Let's see, how long the show been going on? The show has been going on for over 150 Pokemon eggs worth.
All right, so about 5 hours, I think, because we start at 10 p.m. and we're at 2 a.m. now. So, if anyone doesn't have any questions, we'll just make sure to like our shit, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, yeah, and that's really it. Support us. Yeah. Does anyone have any closing words? Doesn't look like anyone has any closing words. So, I think
we'll all be seeing Dr. Strange next week. Hope you are too.
Boom.
So next episode will probably not next week, but maybe the week after. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Maybe possible. It's good to have the 3 people, so I'll probably try to do it on a Thursday again. This Thursday would seem like it was a pretty good way to do it, and I think we'll see what these guys think, and we'll figure it out. But as of right now, that's pretty much it.
I love how you keep defaulting to that picture.
Yeah, because I want that to be on the screen when I'm